Splatter Garage Movie Massacre is not intended for children. It always contains spoilers, and side effects may include dizziness, nausea, bouts of insanity, uncontrollable laughter, and gas. Please, listen at your own risk.
Okay, let's get it figured out who's starting and which direction are we going with the highlights.
I'll start.
I'll start, or you start.
Yeah, I like my leprechaun.
You want to go you, me, or you, fusion?
Me, you.
Okay.
Wait, what?
He's like, that wasn't an option.
It was. She just changed it this way.
Okay. Fine, I'll go third.
You will.
And sixth. And ninth.
That means Christina goes. She gets to say the slow-mo
last one.
pogo death.
Slow-mo pogo.
I get 8, 7, 6, 5, and 2? I don't know.
No, I get 2. Oh, wait.
We just established this.
I get 9 and 6 and 3. I don't know. Whatever. We'll know when we get there.
Basically.
Okay.
For no money. We work hard for no money. We work hard for no money. Na, 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 na. I really didn't know where to take it from there.
Oh my god.
All right, everybody, welcome to Splatter Garage Movie Massacre, a podcast that celebrates the best and worst titles in horror and action cinema. I'm your host, Stina Polk, and I'm here hanging out with my co-hosts, Jen Polk, and of course, Weston Wong, aka Fusion. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, we work hard for the money.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Well, we don't. You work
Yeah, we
hard.
don't.
We work hard for no money.
Exactly. We work hard for no money.
Work hard for no money. New theme song, everybody. New theme song.
Yep.
Our other lovely co-host, Kevin Lee, unfortunately isn't here today because he is on the scene in Mobile, Alabama. That's right. He is field reporting for us today, and he will be calling in a little bit later to tell us what he's found. And why is he on the scene, you ask? Well, you probably didn't ask, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you anyway. It's because of our movie of the week. I hope you guys are ready for this, because tonight, there's a leprechaun in the basement. That's right. We have a very special episode in store for you guys tonight. We are doing a versus episode, which is just a fancy way of saying we're doing 2 movies at once and then arguing over which is better. Tonight's features are, of course, Leprechaun and Leprechaun Returns, the 2018 sequel that reboots the entire franchise, sort of, kind of. I mean, right? I mean, it picks up.
A little bit. It
picks
tries.
up where the last one.
It tries.
It doesn't really reboot anything.
It negates all of the other sequels.
Yeah.
It's just those didn't happen. We never went to the hood or to space. Instead, we're here in this house. Okay, so
25 years later.
Yeah, 25 years later. The series was created by Mark Jones, who wrote and directed the first one, and the sequel was directed by Astron 6's Steven Kostansky, the creator of Psycho Gorman and Manborg and
The best movies ever.
Yeah, seriously, really, guys, those are fantastic. So it's really exciting. Now, how do we summarize this movie? Easy. It's a murderous leprechaun that will kill to get his gold back. Boom, that's it. That's the premise for literally both movies right there.
Well, they don't tell you that in the second one until halfway through.
Right, it's more about killing.
It is. It's all about killing.
He's got a bloodlust, like all of us here at this podcast.
Yes.
But, since these movies are fairly well known, we're just going to skip over the trailers and get right into the breakdown because we have a lot to talk about today, and I am very tired.
But first, a sponsor break.
We're coming for you, Lucky. This St. Patrick's Day, me clover charms turn milk green.
Where'd he go? We must have made a wrong turn.
Turn your milk green with me special Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
We're going to get into our movie highlights.
It's showtime.
Number 10, there's a leprechaun in the basement.
Also in the well. Number 9, shoe fetish. Not feet, but shoes.
Number 8, tons of leprechaunisms like diddly dee, the leprechaun is me.
Number 7, Power Wheel, high-speed chase.
Number 6, solar panel slicing.
Number 5, leprechaun peekaboo.
Number 4, gut busting.
Number 3, drone decapitation.
Number 2, blood sprinklers.
And number 1, slow-mo pogo death. The absolute worst way to go.
By a leprechaun.
He's not wrong. All right, that's it for our movie highlights. We'll be right back after a quick sponsor break.
The luck of the Irish is running out for a little town in South Dakota.
My ear! He got my ear!
You gotta stop the bleeding. I can't see the cabinets. We're like really scared.
Leprechaun. Rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Do you have any old books? Any very old books?
We do. Here at Endgame Comics and Collectibles in Ventura, we have old books, new books, books of evil.
The Book of Evil!
That's right. So don't get rid of your old books. Give them to us at Endgame.
The place that has issues.
Old books can be worth quite a lot of money.
Welcome back. All right, let's do this. Let's get into this series. We have a lot to talk about, starting with the 1993 cult classic Leprechaun, starring Jennifer Aniston.
Oh boy.
Yeah, where to even start with this? Okay, so the movie opens with a leprechaun counting his gold. I presume in some cave.
In Ireland, maybe.
I don't really know.
They don't tell
it's
you.
unclear. Do leprechauns live in caves? What's going on? They immediately cut away from that to this Irish couple with like cartoon accents, right? Like
it's the best.
It really, like I thought they were in Ireland straight up because they were laying it on so heavy. I was like, okay, here we go. But no, apparently they're in North Dakota.
Yeah, and they don't tell you how any of the prior
context.
Yeah, there's
no
just
context
none.
for any of this. It's just like here's a leprechaun, here's a guy that stole his gold.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
Yeah,
that is kind of all you need to know, I guess. I mean, that's kind of what I miss about these old movies is they really didn't give a lot of context. They're just like, yeah, it's a leprechaun that kills people. That's all you really need, you know?
It is all you need.
Because that's what they do.
Well, that's what I signed up for. So.
I know, exactly. I don't need anything else.
Which, by the way, guys, when I started this movie, Jen, I know you had the same problem. I was trying to watch it on the Roku channel because it was for free. And I could only find it in Spanish.
Yep.
And there's nothing quite like listening to a leprechaun.
Irish accents in Spanish.
A leprechaun speaking in Spanish.
He sound like Antonio Banderas.
I highly recommend. No, but there was like the Telemundo guy who was doing he was reading the title cards. Dude, it was so funny. Seriously, it was glorious. You guys should watch that. Anyway, I digress.
David, was it Warwick Davis? And then a whole bunch of Spanish words.
It was so good. So good. All right, so we see this, we're introduced to an Irishman. His name is Danny O'Grady, which I suspect they named him that just so they could use the line, "Oh, Danny boy."
Probably.
Because they did.
They do.
They did.
And the wife, of course, who thinks he's crazy because he's drunk.
And he comes home talking about, stealing a leprechaun's gold and that they're going to be rich. And so she celebrates by making tea. Of course. That's what they do, you know?
It's the most Irish thing to do.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. You celebrate with tea. a lot. You don't look a lick of Irish.
That's an Asian tea.
Well, to be fair, it did open with Danny finishing off a fifth of Jameson, so I feel like that really set the tone for what we were about to endure. Wait. By the way, there is an ADR line because he says, I quote, that he captured a little person and told him where to take his gold, which sounds like a hate crime. It sounds like a hate crime. Or he told him to take him to his gold, rather. And then they cut away, and then they add a line. It's clearly an ADR line where he goes, because that's how it works. I just started laughing so hard. I was like, that was a studio note where they're like, you're going to have to explain why he did that. You can't just say that he stole a little person and took his money. It's not going to sit well with people.
He's like Mr. Burns. He just steals,
just kidnaps people, takes their gold.
Shakes them. Lets the gold drop out of their pockets.
Somehow.
Because little people carry gold.
Yeah. Everyone knows that. I walk around with a ton of gold in my pockets, like, regular basis.
I know.
Anyway, so...
Those are gold coins.
They're quarters.
With candy in the middle.
They're Sacagawea dollars, okay?
Sir. Let's not get technical.
The leprechaun finds him, and I can't figure this out. Jen and I were just talking about this before we started the podcast. I have no idea. He just magically appears in his briefcase, which is my favorite. My favorite part about this movie. He does kill the wife, but he does that after he pops out of a briefcase. And I feel like this movie is a series of him hiding and popping out of very small spaces.
With leprechanisms.
The whole yes, with leprechanisms. He'll pop out and be like, ho, 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 hee, 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 like, ha, ha. The whole time, dude. I was just dying. This is seriously a movie. You should just sit back, pop a couple edibles, and have the best time.
Yes, right? I mean, if you haven't seen this movie yet, really,
yeah.
A lot of people have.
Honestly, it's worth a rewatch, though.
It is. It's the movie that launched Jennifer Aniston's career. I can't say her name.
I say it's Friends, but we'll go with that.
It got her on the map.
It was her first film, so you can't.
And it made her a final girl.
That's true. She's a final girl. I mean, she's the only girl in the movie, so I guess. Another thing that I love about this movie is, so we can establish right now, we're going to get into it, but the kills are very disappointing. I feel like it's a series of him scratching and biting.
Well, you got to think of the time.
He is feral.
Yeah, you got to think of the time too. This was 93 and this was a low budget film. So, they had to make do with what they had to make do. And then it was really hard to find somebody who could, do stunts for Warwick. So he had to kind of do stunts in all of this makeup.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they're pretty good for the time.
Yeah, okay. I mean, not too bad, I guess,
Because expectations and gore and stuff were really low in the 90s.
What about all the Oompa Loompa guys? None of them could have come through and done a couple of flips or anything.
I mean, they could. Low budget.
There wasn't a circus in town? I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh! I have such a cool fact about that.
Okay, all right. Save it for later. You have a whole segment to talk about that.
How
dare you interrupt our discussion when you have an entire segment to yourself?
Because it was completely written out of the movie.
All right, let's get back to it. So the old man finds his dead wife. He sees the leprechaun. He's all like, "How did you find me?" Which is a valid question. It's a valid question.
He follows the gold.
I guess so. He's got a honing device for gold, which he never uses. It doesn't work at any other part in the movie.
Man's back. That's how you found him. He was with him the whole time.
I guess so. He was.
I mean, that kind of answers itself.
You kidnap me, I kidnap you.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. The old man, right? So he shoots him first, right, which knocks him out, and then he locks him in a crate with a clover.
He has the 4-leaf clover.
Right. Yeah. He puts the clover on top. So we're establishing rules here, people. This is exciting. We know that he can't get out because of a clover, which I did not know was a thing with leprechauns. I thought that clovers were their friends.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. They just wanted to give him kryptonite.
They needed something.
Yeah, they needed a weakness, essentially.
Okay, so 4-leaf clover. Not a bottle of Jameson? I would think.
I mean, I would think that too.
I mean, it's lucky
Jameson and
for you
shoes.
that holds the 4-leaf clover. So.
Well, they established those rules with the clover and the shoes.
Right, the shoes early on, because he's constantly cleaning shoes. Like we said, he's got some kind of shoe fetish. He has to clean them.
Yeah.
I guess
It's a Faye
elves
thing.
build them and leprechauns clean them. But anyway, but the whole clover thing. All right, I do take issue with this system in the beginning because he puts this clover on top of the crate and it's supposed to keep him in there. Then we fast forward 10 years.
Well, he has a heart attack.
Right. He has a heart attack.
He was going to burn it down, and then he has a heart attack.
And then he has a heart attack. Right. Okay. So 10 years later, he's still in the crate. My whole thing is like, this clover would have rotted away after 3 days. There's no way it's still on top of the crate.
My question is,
He's a
the
mythological creature.
The clover isn't.
They still
the
have to
clover
poo.
is the mythological
And also,
creature.
it's on top of the crate. Can't
Wait a
he
minute.
just push?
Wait a minute. Do
crate?
leprechauns have to poop?
I don't know. I
Write
would
us
imagine.
in spottergarage
They
@gmail.com.
poop gold. They poop gold.
Let me
Leprechauns have to
know.
poo. I feel like there'd be a lot of poop.
Little did people know this whole time.
They
It was
poop rain.
leprechaun shit. Oh, wait, I thought they shit Lucky Charms.
That or they shit rainbows.
Unicorn,
You
sir.
follow the rainbow all the way to his asshole.
And there's his pot of gold.
Here's your pot of gold.
You ready to go digging?
All right, so 10 years later, we're introduced to Jennifer Aniston's
This is
character.
the part that confused me.
This confused everybody. I had
I'm
to
glad
watch
I
this
watched
twice.
it again in English.
Yeah, Jen was confused mostly because it was in Spanish the entire time.
I've seen it. I was like, I can get the gist of it.
Oh my God, dude.
I mean, I've seen this movie a million times, and I still.
She's like, I need to brush up on my Spanish. What better time than now when I have an entire podcast to do on this movie? Oh my God. Okay, so Jennifer Aniston's character, her name is Tori, right? She's with her dad. They're driving to his new home, which she says
Is in New Mexico. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to New Mexico with my dad."
but it's not. It's North Dakota.
Well, what's funny
And
about
it's also
this whole
not
thing-
North Dakota because it's clearly
It's
California.
Yeah, it's the ranch. It's Big
Clearly
Sky Ranch.
California.
But what cracks me up is I'm thinking New Mexico this whole time, and right after they do that scene, they cut to like this tarantula in the house.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
She calls it a spider.
She calls
I'm
it
like,
spider,
"That's
but
a tarantula."
I was like, do tarantulas, are they native to New Mexico? So I go and research this, and I'm like, they are native to New Mexico, but that's not the correct tarantula. And then Christina's like, it's North Dakota, and I go, oh, well, there are no tarantulas in North Dakota. I know that.
So this is the same house as the old people?
Yes, this is the O'Grady's house, which he
Okay.
has purchased, I guess, just the other day.
Well, they never explain-
Because he is clearly not stepped, there's no way he would have been living in this house. I mean, he's
Right.
pretty much
Listen,
falling apart.
my favorite part of this whole house scene is watching when they introduce Ozzy and the boy, and they're clearly painting this house like bright blue and bright red, and it does not need it.
Yeah, the color scheme alone, right? Bright blue, bright red makes no sense. It's like they're striping it up, you know.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, I do want to talk about the painters though. So she ends up, she's like, immediately she gets there and she's like, not staying here, I'm going to a hotel. And that's when she meets the heartthrob, Nathan, who's like
Yes.
running this 3 guys in a paint job. What is it
I
called?
know.
What
I
is
don't
it
even know if
called?
it would be 3 guys in a paint job because it's really just
It's 2
him,
and a half.
especially. It's not even 2.5 because one of them's special needs. If you think
That's
about
what I was
it.
going to talk about. I was like, so it's him, a mentally ill person, and a child. I'm like, what the hell kind of
perfect
team
team.
is this? Who hires these people?
Listen now, come on, everybody's got to work.
That's all they had at
It was
Home
the
Depot.
90s.
So she sees Nathan, right, and he starts teasing her about wanting to leave, and immediately she's like, "What? I don't want to leave. I'm tough. I could totally help clean this place up." So she decides.
Jennifer Aniston.
She decides to stay, right?
And changes her outfit.
Like 3
times
times.
in this whole
She
movie.
changes it 3 times within an hour. It's insane. Like the second she gets there, she goes in, she comes out, she's in a new outfit, right? When she brings them lemonade.
Chicks were this way in the 90s. You don't remember our older sister doing that? Like, we literally.
She got there in
It
a
was
dress.
the most confusing thing. I literally had to stop and I was like, wait, is this the same day? Because she's already cycled through 3 outfits and she just got there.
They
Like,
couldn't find anything colorful
it
enough
makes
for her.
no sense. All right, she goes down. She's like going to bring a peace offering to Nathan with the lemonade or whatever it is. Kool-Aid. I don't know what it is.
It's something.
She trips. She breaks the glass, and this wakes up the leprechaun. We see the leprechaun's been taking like a 10-year nap.
Well, I mean,
apparently.
what else you got to do?
I guess so. He could have just left. At any point, he could have left. Like,
he
seriously.
could have went out of any of the other exits of that box.
Or in 3 days, when the clover would have wilted away, he could have just walked off. Like, seriously, it makes no sense. There's no way a clover would stand for 10 years. And
it's
a lucky
essence.
clover. It's 4 leaves.
Nothing's that
it's
lucky.
a lucky
It is
clover.
essentially an herb at this point that has not been crushed up and used.
It came from Ireland. It's special.
I guess so. Wait, did it come from Ireland?
I would assume so.
Well, there is a clover patch on the farm.
Well, I feel like if
But he
went...
did have it locked and loaded.
So maybe he did. Maybe he
ready for
found
this.
it and then he went to Ireland because he found it and he's like, I found a 4-leaf clover. I'm going to go hunt a leprechaun.
During
and
during the funeral, I'm gonna go hunt
Yeah,
for.
he went for his mom's death and then ended up just finding a leprechaun at some point. I don't know if the leprechaun was at the funeral. Like,
maybe they were dating.
He's a family friend.
He was dating the mom.
Okay, so Ozzy's the one that lets the leprechaun out, right? Because he gets him with that creepy.
He trips
children's
over.
voice.
I can't talk tonight. He trips over something, I want to say, in the basement, and then the thing falls off.
No, the
off,
leprechaun
right?
beckons him.
Yeah.
With
down
the
there.
child's voice, he says, "Hey, let me out."
But I don't know if he doesn't brush the thing off.
Yeah, he does.
Does he on purpose?
Yeah. Well, he goes to open it and it falls off.
That's
is
what I
it
mean.
is.
Like, I
and
don't
then the
think it was
leprechaun busts
okay.
out. But he is trying to let him out because he thinks he's a small child, right?
Y'all, I watched this movie twice today.
It still doesn't stick.
Well, first time it was in Spanish.
That leads to my favorite quote. Honestly, when Ozzy goes running out of the house screaming, "There's a leprechaun in the basement." I'm probably going to say that a lot. You guys.
Just listen. Christina has laughed at that scene since she was, let's see, this movie's 93, since she was like 5 years old.
Yeah, it's
Is
true.
old enough to watch it every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It makes me laugh so hard. It's ridiculous. It's the best part about this movie, hands down.
There's a leprechaun in the basement. You should hear it in
other
Spanish.
reason.
It's great.
No other reason to watch this movie. You got to watch it for that. That's the best part. And they humor him, right? They all go down to the basement to try and find it.
Yeah.
And they find a rat, and they're like, "There's your leprechaun." And like, I don't care how mentally challenged you are. You know
That's
the
just
difference. You know the difference between a rat and a leprechaun.
Just bringing flashbacks of when I worked at Skechers. And I was like, I saw a rat. And they're like, you sure it wasn't a bird?
Are you sure it wasn't a leprechaun?
Yeah. Like, no, I can't tell the difference.
Okay, so they go outside, right? They're like, okay, no leprechaun in here. Barely looked for it. Doesn't matter. Ozzy's crazy.
You're right.
They go outside, and there's a rainbow, which
actually
it hasn't rained, guys. I don't.
The
It's like a sunny day, no rain.
Was the leprechaun let out before they find the gold or after? I want to say it was
before.
after.
It's before because this is the scene that leads to the gold. The rainbow leads to the gold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they see the rainbow. Ozzy and the kid are like, "Hey, let's follow the rainbow." And again, nobody questions this rainbow.
I know, right?
It has not rained. It is a dry desert day in North Dakota.
On this nice desert farm with one clover patch. It's amazing.
And so they run off, right? And Nathan's all like, "Hey, don't go. We've got work to do." And this
Yeah,
is
they paint like that one square.
like they're like not even finished with the windowsill. It's ridiculous. My favorite, my second favorite line in this movie. I love this part. There's another one after this, right? But my second favorite line is they run off and he's like, "Oh, don't go." And she's like, "Aw, let them go have their fun. You and I can finish painting." And I'm like, why is she helping?
I know, right?
These people are paid, okay?
She wants to hit
they're
that.
Worker.
She's
really
a strong,
does.
independent woman.
It's Jennifer Aniston. Let her paint the house.
I just didn't get that. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, what? When I got the plumber over, I'm not like, "Here, let me help you with that." Like, that's
You
not
still
a
offer them lemonade, though.
Well, not the kind in
That's
the fridge.
the peace offering, okay? That's the peace offering. Don't drink Jen's lemonade, everybody.
She likes some golden showers.
All right. So the rainbow is what leads to the gold, right? We all know that. That's like the cliche. So they find the gold, and the kid, I couldn't get this. The
Okay,
kid's trying to talk him into keeping it and not telling anybody. And he tells him, we can finally get that brain operation for you to fix your brain. Which, one, is super offensive.
Well, that was all. They wanted to remove it because it was so offensive. The studio wanted to remove it.
It never pays off. Because the kid literally says later, he's like, I know I'm lying. But Ozzy doesn't know. And it's like, Ozzy didn't even know about the brain. You put it in his head. Like,
Oh, poor
what
guy.
are you talking about? So now you're teasing him about this, giving him false hope, and I can't figure out why. I don't know if the kid has his own, like, motive that he wants the money.
Because it was the 90s.
Because it was the 90s.
And we like to manipulate.
That's, we're going to use that excuse a lot throughout this episode.
Because it was the 90s.
Until we get to
It
the
was the
sequel, and it was
90s.
2008. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah. I mean, it was based on a 90s movie, so... Oh my God, guys. Okay. So the leprechaun's hiding under the truck, right? And
He's caressing her leg.
This is the best part. This is the best part. So Jed's getting shit out of the truck, and he's caressing her leg, and then he scratches her, right? And they're all like, "Oh no, Jen's hurt," and she says,
I love it.
She goes, "There
Keep
was
saying
something caressing my leg," and the dad says, "Maybe it was a possum." And I just immediately imagine this creepy half possum, half dude, like under the truck, just petting her legs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, it's as believable as a leprechaun.
Yeah, but it's something with the hand. You know what I mean? Like an actual hand. Like,
Raccoon.
Yeah, a raccoon. A raccoon would have made so much more sense. It's that rapey raccoon. He's back. It's so creepy.
Exactly like that. Cue those raccoon sounds.
So then the dad gets bit, and I love this part. The dad gets bit. I don't know.
Well, they're looking down. They try to think it's a possum, and they look in the little
Right, I guess
hole
he's gonna go
or whatever.
pull it out. I don't know why you
Yeah.
would stick your hand in there.
I don't either. I couldn't figure that out, and it bites him.
Yeah, so he gets bit, and they take him to the hospital. Couple of things about this scene. One, it's midday. It looks like it's probably noon when they leave. By the time
there could be rabies involved.
By the time they get to the hospital, it's nighttime. So how?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Where the fuck is this farm? Like, it's really in the middle of nowhere. Seriously.
Yes.
They get there, they drop him off, and they leave him overnight.
Well, it could be rabies.
Overnight. Usually they treat you, they test you for rabies right there.
But
It's
they
not
gotta
gonna
watch
be
you
like
for
an
24 hours.
It can be overnight. That doesn't make
Stina
any
speaks
sense.
from experience.
Yes, I do. I've had a lot of rapey raccoons in my life. Let me tell you.
She likes to stick her hand down holes.
I go noodling often. But
See
yeah,
what's down there.
the whole thing doesn't make sense. And this is when they split up, right? Jen and Nathan are going to get food, and then
Yes, we
Ozzy
are.
and Alex are like, "Hey, let's go get these coins appraised." Meanwhile, the leprechaun steals a tricycle
And he just follows.
and runs into town because supposedly he knows how to find the gold, but that doesn't make sense because this
Yeah.
whole fucking movie is spent with him saying, "Where's me gold?" Like,
Yep.
if you have a GPS for gold, use it. I don't understand.
Because
wants
if
to
you
kill.
if you tell him, he'll spare your life.
He could have tracked Ozzy and Alex, but he goes to where they drop off the one coin, and he hides in another small space and pops out with his little hee hee ha ha cha 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 cha.
Well, you forget also Ozzy swallowed a coin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Ozzy
Ozzy's
accident-
when they find it. Yeah, Ozzy swallows a coin. That's like an important part. Which how did that happen? Like,
I have no idea.
I looked
because
away
the
for
coin
1
was
second.
like right here, and then all of a sudden it's like.
Was he like, it's a
He's
chocolate
special.
coin?
He's
Oh, actually, it might. I think it is. I think it's like it might be when he tried to bite it or something.
Oh, to see if it's real, and then he swallows it. Okay,
It's something like that.
very loose motive
Chocolate
there.
coins. That'd be me.
It's a chocolate coin. I'm just gonna bite it. They're all dirty and dusty. They're like hundreds of years old.
You can peel that off. Nothing stands between me and the sugar.
So this appraiser, he's got this coin and says it could be worth 500 a coin. It could be worth more if there's historical value. He's gonna hold on to it and he's gonna look into it. Meanwhile, he starts hearing
I don't know if I'd trust that, but then again,
yeah.
you've got like a mentally ill guy and a child.
another
so-
reason not to trust it though, because it seems like pretty easy to rip them off.
Yeah, but they don't know that. So
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. He gets attacked by the leprechaun. He's hiding in the safe, I think. He jumps out at him.
Was he in the safe?
Yeah, he was in the safe.
Well, he's magical because they play that up later on.
That's
where
another
he can,
thing.
He can
okay, so immediately, I forgot they established that without his coins, he's weak and he needs his magic. But he constantly uses magic throughout this movie. It makes no sense.
It's just whenever he's close to a coin and whenever he's not. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, that kind of makes sense. They don't really establish it, though. It just, he's constantly
they don't really give you rules for it.
Yeah, he's just constantly using magic while saying, oh, I'm weak. I need my coins so I can do magic. So, okay. Getting some mixed signals there. I really don't know what that's about.
Yeah,
but
right.
this is probably the best kill in the movie, right? I think we can all agree.
Yep.
Is he takes a pogo stick and he pogos this guy to death. And they do it in slow motion. So he takes a hop and then another hop and the guy's on the ground like, no. It's the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen. Honestly, watch this movie for that. For Leprechaun in the basement and that. Like,
if you have not seen this movie. But
it's the only reason to fucking watch it.
It was like, I don't know who came up with that scene, but there was the only reason, there was a reason why they did it in slow-mo.
Yeah.
And it was like,
which we'll
first
get
of
into
all,
later.
no one can operate a freaking pogo stick, so why?
That's like the worst toy ever invented. It seems extremely dangerous.
Yeah,
like hop, hop, death. I don't understand.
Right?
Wow.
I don't understand. That's kind of what happens in this movie too.
Exactly.
And the best part, so he's like pogoing on the guy's chest, and then they cut to a close up, and his face is all fucked up, and I'm like, when did that happen? Like he was perfectly fine.
Would a pogo stick actually do that? Because I want to say they use it in Jackass on their genitals all the time.
Oh God, why do you call that back?
And that's a full-grown man.
Because you're sitting there.
That's a full-grown man. This is Warwick Davis. Like, what does he weigh? You know?
I know,
like,
right?
If anything, the guy should have been laughing, rolling around. Oh, he kills the guy. He jumps off and then he cleans his shoes, the dead body shoes. I like that. That was a nice touch.
Yeah. It's got to. Gotta clean the shoes, man.
Then he steals.
It's a fetish.
He steals a children's, like one of those little pedal cars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like a what do we call those big wheels?
Power wheels.
Kind of, but it's like in the shape of a car instead of a bike. He takes that and then he starts cruising down the road at like full speed, like 60 miles per hour.
This little battery operated car.
Leprechaun magic.
Seriously, he had to boost this thing up. I don't know what the fuck happened, but he is cruising to the point where he gets pulled over. And this cop, by the way, total dick. I love this cop because he walks up fully presuming this is a child. He even says it, and then he immediately is acting like he's going to arrest the kid. And I'm like, what are you doing? Shouldn't you be concerned?
Right?
The leprechaun, by the way, scratches him, right? That's his go-to move. He scratches
and then chases him through the woods.
I said bite his. He scratches and bites this whole movie and pops out of small places. I can't say that enough. It's my favorite part.
Like a possum.
I really
or a
don't
raccoon.
like a possum or a rapey raccoon. I really don't like what this movie is saying about little people.
They're feral.
I like that they keep him in the shadows though, in that classic.
I was gonna say that.
They do keep him in the shadows a lot.
I
like
actually meant to make a note about that. I do appreciate that, but they kind of abandon it almost halfway through because then you get a lot of the full light, and I wish they didn't do that. I mean, his makeup was all right, but like
I understand what he was going for with the lighting in the movie, but I feel like it was the wrong color choices.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets lost because he overthought what he should be doing. Because when you go horror and you want to brighten it, you got to go classic red and green, man.
You do. You need to use low lighting. It's always, it always looks too costumey whenever you do full light on the face. You kind of want to keep it mostly in the shadows. It's a lot more creepy. It sets a tone. So they start with that, and then they abandon it halfway through. And then it goes full Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it does. It goes
Straight up
complete
full
Looney Tunes.
It's ridiculous. So the appraisal guy, the pawn shop guy, he was killed. Number 1, two. The
cop was
the pogo death. The cop is 3, which he snaps his neck or something. He scratches him. They run into the woods. There's this whole hide and seek thing, which again popping out of places.
Oh,
he's like popping out from behind all these trees, like hee, look at me, I'm a leprechaun. It's so good.
I don't know if he snaps his neck or strangles him or something along those lines.
I feel like he snaps his neck, which that would be like technically the second death by neck snapping, because the wife in the beginning falls down the stairs and snaps her neck, which again the kills in this movie are pretty disappointing other than the slow-mo pogo. That's worth it.
Slow-mo pogo.
Unless you count the leprechaun's death.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
That was
I mean,
the
that's where the
best.
money went.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay, so Yeah, there's also some weird like Sam Raimi nods. I feel like nods to Evil Dead with the woods and the camera movement.
I don't think it was intentional though. I think that
part was intentional.
No,
they did the exact same
They
thing.
were trying to do through the Leprechaun's point of view.
Yeah, but they sped it up with that same camera movement. So like I get that he's running fast, but
I feel like it actually, to me, it mimics more like Cat's Eye.
He's got the hand thing that falls off, and then the hand comes to life and
you know
starts
what's
attacking
funny is
people.
because you're referencing Evil Dead, but a lot of people claimed that it was referencing Nightmare on Elm Street, and neither, because the director actually did go on to say that it wasn't taken from any of those movies. Like
he lies.
He went, yeah.
You're a liar, Mark.
We're gonna have to get Mark.
We are. We're gonna put Mark in the hot seat. We're gonna ask him
all
the tough
questions. Yes. Absolutely.
How often do you watch Evil Dead? Don't lie to me. I mean, we'll get to it later. There's a clear nod to Army of Darkness in the sequel.
Now that's gotta be, because that is totally
blatant. I mean, it's blatant.
But then it's a different director too.
Yeah,
and at that point,
but Mark
Jones wasn't. Like, he backed out of the project for financial reasons.
Creative differences.
No, it was actually financial. Probably because Lionsgate was like, no, you only get this amount of money. And Mark was like...
And I don't get Jennifer Aniston either. I'm out.
I mean, wouldn't you be, though?
But you get Ozzy.
Yeah, that's all they got. Was Ozzy, who has not done anything in 25 years.
He looks good, though.
Does he? I don't know.
For his age.
He could be 38. For all
he's more like 38 and the
40.
And this, what are you trying to say?
I'm saying he didn't age well. Anyway. No, it is jarring when you see Ozzy again in the sequel.
Well, when you watch him back to back, it's jarring.
You're like, whoa. Okay, anyway, so let's get back to the house. Everyone gets back to the house.
Yes.
And that's actually my third favorite part of the movie. This is like...
Which at this point, only Ozzy knows that the Leprechaun's there. No one's listening to him.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't know that he's being followed, though. Yeah. Like, they kind of forget about it until this scene. This is like when shit goes crazy, because the leprechaun comes back and plants the bear trap and all that. But before we get to that, my favorite part is they get to this house, right? The dad's still gone. Just going to be gone all fucking night. They get back to the house, and the Panthers walk in, and Nathan looks at Jennifer Aniston and says, all right, we're going to check the bedrooms and see where we want to sleep. And I'm just like, wait, why are the painters staying overnight? Like,
because it took half a day to get to the hospital.
That makes sense, but then
yeah, that's what it is. It's like a 5-hour drive to the hospital.
Well, they don't really give you context as to if the dad knows them personally, or
they don't. You get the impression that like he
they
just
all
hires
know each
them.
other.
Well, no, not even like because. The dad doesn't know anything about the O'Grady's. Does he? I don't think he ever says anything to it.
No, I'm talking
But everyone in this town knows about it. So, like, they all know each other. But the dad's a newcomer, right? Like, he hasn't lived in this town.
Don't specify.
I know. They don't give you any context.
The only,
we didn't cover that.
The only context you get for that is him driving in the beginning with Jennifer Aniston. And she's
saying,
like,
you're going to love this place.
Yeah. That is it. So you have no clue. And, the house really... isn't that bad. I mean,
it was abandoned for like 10 years. That's the only thing. So
Yeah.
it's covered in cobwebs. All of the old stuff is there.
You think they would have cleaned that first before moving in.
That's what I was saying. Like, it looks like he has not stepped foot in this house. And he's like, come on, honey, you need to get away.
I saw it on Zillow, and it was a great deal.
Dude, it doesn't make any sense. I've tried, like, I stayed up all night, like, just trying to figure this out, wrap my head around it.
This is why you have eye problems.
This is why I have eye problems. This is giving me high blood pressure, trying to figure out the damn rules behind this leprechaun.
It's like it makes no logical sense. It's a mythological creature, Christina.
The house?
Should still make sense. There should still be rules. Yeah, the house is also a mythological creature. Well, oh my god.
They finished painting it blue and red. Might be.
So okay, at this point the leprechaun does attack. Right, I don't know if it's the bear trap, I think, that happens first, which I love that scene. Because we track Nathan's feet as he's walking outside. There's a bear trap waiting for him.
Yeah, there's some kind of noise or something, and he goes
to check it out.
He gets Does he have the gun or does he have just a flashlight?
No, he doesn't have the gun because that's one of my favorite parts. He tells the small child to go and get the gun. Go get the gun. Go get the gun.
Well, I mean, out of all of them, I would trust the little boy over Ozzy to go get the
shit together. The kid's a little OG. Let's be real about that. Like that kid, he's
Did you watch Planet
businessman.
No, honey. Sorry.
Don't point the gun at your face. But no, this is a Southern kid. He gets it. You know he owns a pocket knife.
He owns a gun
probably
himself.
owns a gun. He knows what he's doing. He's getting
least
shit done.
it's a shotgun.
He's already got a fucking business. He's not even in
true.
school. He just
And
works.
he's swindling the mentally handicapped guy.
Yeah.
And
He's
his
a
business
stand-up
partner,
guy.
apparently,
He's a
because he
stand-up guy.
didn't tell him about the gold.
Okay, so we're tracking the feet of Nathan. He's walking towards this bear trap. For some reason, he trips over nothing. Not even a part of, has nothing to do with the leprechaun. He trips over nothing and falls into the bear trap.
Yep.
And that's my favorite
And
part.
then the leprechaun pops out.
Yeah, like he does. Ha ha, hee hee, ho ho.
And then tries to chop his leg off or something.
Something
Kill
like
him with
that.
an axe.
I
He's
don't
got
know.
like
I was
a little
honestly
hatchet.
too busy laughing at that part to track what happened. I was like, why did he just fall into a bear trap? Like, that seems like an isolated incident that has nothing to do with the leprechaun. But, okay, so they bring him in, right? Everybody knows.
Well, they
there's a
go out
leprechaun.
and they see, like, they try to help him because he's screaming.
Right.
Because
they
he
try
has
to
a
shoot
hatchet.
him. Yeah, they try to shoot him and everything. And they're running and they barricade themselves. That's
Yeah.
when they cut off his hand and everything, shutting the door on him. And Jennifer Aniston's in complete denial. She's not even saying anything about the leprechaun. She's more like in nurse mode. Like, I don't know how she knows how to take care of any of this, but she's making demands like she's at a hospital. She's like, you get this, you get this, you get this, and not mentioning the leprechaun once. Like, everyone else is like, holy fucking shit, there's a leprechaun.
Because
And
maybe
she's
if you
just
don't
like,
see it, it doesn't exist.
yeah, I mean, that's my theory.
Oh,
honestly.
I see. It's a wound at this point.
Yeah. Well, we got to stop the bleeding so we don't have too many dead
That's
bodies.
actually one of my favorite parts is Ozzy gets his ear bitten off and she looks at it and she goes, we're going to need ice. I'm like, what? I think you need a lot of things. I wasn't thinking ice though. Like, what the fuck? We're going to
numb it.
We're going to need ice.
That's for the drinks she needs to make to handle the situation.
We're going to need ice and we're going to need vodka. Stat.
Some Jameson, some scotch on the rocks.
Holy shit.
It's for me, not you.
They end up trying to escape, right? I love this part because also they put the kid on the line in this part. They get in the car.
We missed a big part. The part when they get back before the leprechaun attacks. The house looks like it's been broken into and all the shoes have been polished.
Oh,
on
that's
the counter.
right. That's right. They keep
establish
playing
that.
up this shoe fetish
Yeah,
thing and this
the
whole
shoes.
And then they say it was a bear.
Yeah,
A bear broke in and started shining shoes on that. It's
That's what bears
It's
do.
a real problem.
Cocaine Bear did it.
Then he snorted cocaine.
Check for your flow. Everybody, make sure your drugs are still there. A bear got into the house.
What kind of bear is it?
Cocaine Bear coming up next episode.
Prepare for this.
Just a quick plug. Oh yeah, okay. So they try to escape there. They get in the car. The car's like disabled. He did something to the car.
No, he's in the engine tearing it apart.
Well,
'cause
they
the
don't
little
know
boy-
that though.
Yeah.
They tell the kid get out and look.
Why is this kid doing
They tell the kid to do it. Again, the leprechaun pops out. Ha ha, hee hee ho.
Didn't we do another movie with a kid that's doing everything? Was that Saturday the 14th?
It's always Saturday the 14th, but I feel like there's another one. I
Where,
don't know.
like,
This
they have
seems to
the
be a
kid
common
doing
trope where there's like a 10-year-old that's like, I guess I gotta be a man.
Well, I mean, that's every adult. Like, adults, like child, go do that.
That's what you are for.
That's why we had you.
Yeah, because we can always make another one, right? Completely expendable.
Yeah, at least that's what we were
What I
taught
love
growing
about
up.
this scene, though, they don't mention it at the time. They mention it in like a couple of scenes after this, but they run back into the house because they can't get the truck to start. Where actually, the leprechaun goes into the shed and builds like a mini bulldozer. It's like tiny. And then he pushes the truck over and it rolls like 3 times. I don't understand that. Like, it's like it looks like he reinforces the little power wheel.
Well, he's magical.
But still, like, how much does that thing weigh? And it pushes over this truck with 3 people in it, and they go rolling like 3 times. It's crazy. And
Magic.
And they're it's science fiction.
How did you get in here?
So they run into the house, but the part that I love, they don't mention it at the time, but the dad's Jeep is still there.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense. The first thing I would have did is like, fuck it, let's get in the Jeep. Like, but instead they run back inside, and then they come to the conclusion. Is this where they talk about giving him the gold? Because at a certain point, they do try to give him the gold. And that's when he discovers that a coin is missing.
No, I don't think it's... Yeah, no, it does come up because the whole point... They come up with a plan to distract him.
Well, they give it to him and that distracts him. Or is it the shoes? They throw the shoes and that distracts him.
Well, no, she has to get to the hospital. I'm trying to think how this plays out.
Because I think he has the coins before she goes to the hospital.
They go inside and
guys, we just watched this movie.
I know, right? Somehow it comes up in the conversation that he wants his gold. I don't know, like, if it's because he says he wants his gold.
Yes,
and
you're right.
Ozzy
And that's when
brings
she
it up,
realizes.
and she tells
because
the kid.
she is in complete denial that it's Leprechaun until he says that. He's like, well, I want my gold. I'm a leprechaun, whatever the hell he says. And she's like, oh, okay. So she goes inside. Ozzy tells her, and she tries to give him the gold. And that distracts him for a little bit.
Yeah, no, he's happy, but there's one coin missing.
Right, he starts making out with the gold and then, like, counting it. And then he's like, wait, there's one left. So I think he starts attacking again.
He comes back, like, they think they're okay.
Either
and then
way.
he pops out of the fridge or the freezer at the kid.
Ha, hee hee.
Like, I think the kid goes to get more ice or something. Like, he distinctly goes, I remember that, and he pops out. He's like, where's my gold?
Right, and then there's,
oh
my God, there's that whole scene that's like, it's like something out of Scooby-Doo with the whole door shenanigans where he's popping out of all of the cabinets.
Yes.
And it's just like,
yes.
I love that scene so much.
And they got the
ridiculous.
Shotgun and stuff in
like,
there.
Like, seriously, it becomes Looney Tunes, straight up. So they come to the conclusion that they need to talk to O'Grady because O'Grady knows how to get rid of it, which...
They don't bring up prior to that, though, do they?
Quick side note, I would think that O'Grady is dead.
Yes.
If O'Grady is not dead... Why
is the house
still there? Why was it abandoned? More importantly, why didn't he take the gold? I don't understand that.
Does she go to a hospital or an old folks home?
It looks like it's an old folks home.
Is it an old folks home?
Yeah, it's an old folks home.
Because I couldn't distinguish that. I was
he
like,
only
why
had a heart attack, or it's either a stroke or a heart attack, but he clearly recovered. So now he's in an old folks home.
Yeah, but they don't tell you that at all, and somehow that's what I missed in this, where O'Grady...
It looks like he never
there's going to be like some diehard fan that gets mad.
I know. Like, write us in. Tell us how we're wrong.
Yeah. Tell us the order of this. We just watched it twice.
It doesn't sink in.
Both of them.
But by the way, O'Grady looks like he hasn't aged a day in 10 years because he hasn't.
Well,
but still,
there's the famous wheelchair scene. She sneaks in.
No, I know. So she goes to the, she takes her dad's Jeep. She takes her dad's
They distract him with the shoes.
Yeah.
And she takes the Jeep.
Yeah, and then she goes to the home.
And he follows her on roller skates.
Yes,
after
he does.
Signing the
He
shoes,
follows her. And then they have that totally
the
Wile E. Coyote moment when he runs into the fence and then it leaves the perfect outline of a leprechaun. It's so fucking funny.
Yes.
I don't know what the hell they were smoking on this set, but I want some. Like, seriously. She goes there. Did you notice? This was so weird. This was a weird creative choice to me. When she gets to the old folks' home, it's like, first of all, it looks like it's abandoned. I guess maybe because it is.
No, there's like the cop. There's a cop that's
Well, he's
sleeping.
asleep.
Yeah.
You're right. But when she gets in there,
it does look abandoned.
They do this weird, distorted shot with this creepy music, and you're like, "What's that about?" I mean, I get that old folks' homes are creepy.
She's like, yeah, but she's walking through there like it is an abandoned hospital that's haunted, and she's trying to hide from.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. It really doesn't track because, like you said, there is a guard there, so it's like people are living there.
And she knows where she knows the room. She gets the room number.
Which I know. Oh yeah, you're right. She gets it from that. I think it's funny, by the way, that they volunteer her to do this. She's the one person in this group who has never met this man. Apparently, everyone here knows him.
She's also not from this town.
Exactly. Yeah, wow, any of them could have went at any point.
And
Nathan
not only that, I don't know if they thought they were trying to keep her safe, but it follows her.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
So it would have been smarter to send the
Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan at least.
He has no limb.
Or both of them. So, still.
Maybe it was because the only other option was a kid and he's not old enough to drive.
That kid can hold his own. We established this.
It's true. I mean,
that kid
I would
could totally pull it off.
Oh, I remember the movie now. Sorry.
Just now. We're like seriously at the end of the first film and she's like, oh, I remember.
Return of the Living Dead, the second one.
What?
With the kid. Another like kid taking charge of a group.
Return of the Living Dead.
The comedy, not the first one where they're
the
one when they're in the town.
I don't remember a kid in Return of the Living Dead.
The second one.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
It's all the same actors, but they add the kid.
Oh, no, and I haven't seen that in years.
But that's the
what we
one
got to
where
do
the
for the
kid-
podcast then. Mostly just because I need to
Get
rewatch
that
it.
damn screwdriver
I
out of my head.
love Return of the Living Dead. I don't recall the sequel. But, okay, so she gets in there. She gets in there. There's like there's an epic chase scene with the leprechaun in the wheelchair chasing her throughout this hospital. She gets in an elevator,
which apparently was very difficult.
I imagine
in those little prosthetic hands he had.
Oh my god,
a lot of problems.
Terrible. He was like, he was covered.
Yeah.
In prosthetics.
Well, she thinks she's talking to O'Grady, and she's actually
right.
talking to him.
It's the leprechaun who attacks him, and then you find out, like, I guess he already got to O'Grady. He throws him. Is she in an elevator?
She gets in the elevator, and he falls through.
He falls through. Hasn't aged a day in 10 years.
But he's
doing great.
Bleeding all over the place.
For drinking a pint of Jameson a day, though, he looks pretty good. So yeah, he tells her then about the clover, right?
Yeah, you gotta go get a 4-leaf clover from the clover patch,
right,
in the yard. That's magically in the yard.
And then she goes back and she can't find one to save her.
Well, she's like digging. Did you notice though? I don't.
The green light.
Yes.
That was driving me crazy.
I was like,
what
that
was
is
the
not...
green light about? Like
I don't know if they were just trying to highlight the colorfulness.
That's what I think they were trying to do, like to make it seem like it was glowing, but it was clearly coming from off camera.
Yeah.
Like they were just shining a green light in.
Like,
it was driving me fucking insane the whole time. I'm like, what
okay,
is
it wasn't
this
just
light?
me.
No. I wrote that down in my notes. I was like, green light? Question mark? Question mark? What the fuck?
They did a good job of keeping it off of them while they're all digging for the clover, though.
Yeah. I don't remember. So the kid ends up finding the clover. I think it's at this point that he attacks her.
They're trying to protect Ozzy because Ozzy swallowed
Ozzy
it.
has to come out and say, I swallowed it.
He didn't say it. I
No,
know he didn't say
he
it to
does
the
it to
leprechaun.
protect the kid.
Yeah.
Because he goes after the kid, I think, with like a pitchfork or no, it's another bear trap. He's gonna put the kid's head.
The kid was trying to set the bear trap for him, and he was watching it in the barn. And
then he goes to like push the kid in the bear trap, and that's when Ozzy comes out and says, "You want me? I swallowed it." And so he goes after Ozzy.
It's like, she belly, I want.
Right. Yeah. And then the kid ends up saving the day. You know?
Yeah, the kid has the 4-leaf clover and just like
he
shoots
sticks it on some gum, and then he shoots it with the slingshot, like Bart Simpson status, into his mouth, and the leprechaun falls into the well. He explodes.
Well, they do a really gnarly Gremlins moment when like stripes all melting.
He melts. He essentially melts, and then he falls into the well, and the well explodes. Which I didn't get. The whole thing catches fire. But he falls in water. Like, you clearly hear him fall in water.
Wait.
And then the whole thing catches fire.
Nathan pours a gasoline down there, but even so, it explodes.
Okay, that's what you're right. He melts
gasoline.
first, comes back up, and then falls, and they pour the gasoline, and then it explodes.
He throws fire on it, and it explodes. I'm like, it
But
would
still,
catch
he
fire,
threw-
but it
he
wouldn't.
threw-
It wouldn't explode unless
Threw
it was
the
a
match
gas
into the
line
water,
down there.
though. I didn't even think that would work. I mean, he's pouring all that into water. I don't know.
Well, if it catches the gasoline, all it's going to do is burn on top of the water until it burns off.
Right.
But it's
wouldn't
not going to
explode.
explode unless they hit a gas line or something. So I don't know if
Regardless, this well explodes, y'all.
We did skip past the part where she gets in the cop car when she's trying to run, and there's
I couldn't
the dead
figure
body.
that out. I didn't even want to talk about it. I was so confused because there's a cop car. One, it's kind of on the property.
Yeah.
So I was confused if this was another cop.
No, it's the same cop, but I think he drove
But then
it.
that means that which is even more confusing if he drove it there, because at some point it means that he took the cop's dead body and put it back in the car.
Yeah.
Which makes no fucking sense. But there is a really cool
90s.
It is a really cool fucking scene though when she stabs his eye out.
Yes.
And then he
And he
steals
takes-
it from the cop and puts it back in.
And I
which
like that they
I don't
keep-
think that's how it would work.
They
but-
keep that in the sequel too.
with the eye?
Yeah. He steals Ozzy's eye. She stabs the eye out, and he steals.
Oh man, I totally didn't pay attention to
Yeah.
that. It has been a long
And then they
day,
keep
guys.
the dual pupils for him.
Oh, okay.
So he's the
Interesting.
first leprechaun to have the dual colored pupils.
Well, I think it's funny. Or I mean, we're at the end of the movie now.
Yeah, the first
shit
one.
explodes, and then the cops show up.
Yeah,
like
all the
after,
cops.
like right on time, right?
Well,
after
because
the
they tell
explosion.
Ozzy to call the cops earlier. No one believes Ozzy because everyone knows Ozzy's special.
He tells
He's
them there's
special
a
needs.
leprechaun. He starts with leprechaun. Like that's not how you ease them into leprechaun. You don't have to start with leprechaun.
You're like, there's somebody here attacking us.
There's a leprechaun in the basement. Yeah, so they don't believe him. But then, like, later, they're like, we should maybe check on him. I don't know. Those are all side parts of the movie. I didn't
It takes a half day to get there, too.
It must, though. Seriously, it must. Because they do show up at, like,
coming
dawn.
from, like, another state. Because
they're coming from New Mexico, right? That's oh, my God. All right. But, okay, at the end, they do establish that he isn't really dead with a disembodied voice. Do you guys remember what he said? I forget what he said. Something about, I think that's when he established. Ha-ha, hee-hee, ho-ho.
I'm a leprechaun.
Diddly-dee, the leprechaun is me. Something about, I think maybe that's when they established that he isn't fully dead because part of him is still alive. Like, part of him
is in
the gold. There's still the gold.
They allude to it being the gold, but then in this... there's something with the curse. Thank you, Jake. We got Jake hanging out in the splatter studio. Yeah, okay, so there's a curse. I don't know what the curse is. They don't really establish that, whatever the curse is.
No idea.
Are leprechauns cursed to their gold? I don't know what the fuck.
Leprechauns are just evil creatures in general.
That love shoes. They have a shoe fetish.
And just killing.
I kind of wish a leprechaun would show up to my place because I've got these Uggs that really need to be polished.
Oh my God.
They really need to be
His name is
fixed.
Kevin. When are we going to get to Kevin?
Oh my God. Kevin's coming up later. But that's it for the first Leprechaun movie, all right? So we're going to cut to
Are you excited about the next one?
God, I'm so tired. We're going to cut to a quick sponsor break, and then we'll be right back to break down the 2018 sequel. All right, stick around.
Yay!
I've been gone quite a while. What a tale before. My fingers are itching and killing for more. Why, let's try our luck and bet on me gold. If it lands on tails, I'll do as me told. But heads, I'll start a new killing spree. Oh, what a lovely surprise. Shall we try best 2 out of 3?
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
You don't have to be Batman to have shark problems.
Mega Shark Repellent.
Kill them big ass sharks.
I want me gold.
We just watched the end to that movie to clear it up, and what did they say? It was
he curses. He curses himself to stay there until he gets his gold.
Oh,
so he'll return. So they do set it up for the new one.
Interesting. And we're back. Let's talk about this sequel.
Leprechaun Returns.
We mentioned this, right? The film disregards like all previous sequels. It takes place 25 years after the events of the first one. Let's get into it. I'm so tired. Let's do this.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
We open on Lilia, Tori's daughter.
Lila. Already fucking it up.
Hey, it's late.
We do. She just arrived into town, right? She's at this shady bus stop that's like abandoned, and I guess her ride ditches her. And who else shows up but Ozzy, who I guess has a taxi service now?
He's Ubering.
He's got a taxi service, and he still paints, but it's just him.
Yeah.
So who knows what happens to the other two? I guess
They you know,
the kid grew up and
got a life.
Yeah, conning people.
The other guy still crippled.
Yeah, right? I wonder if him and Jennifer Aniston ever hooked up. Maybe that's where Tori came from.
That could be. You mean Lila?
Unclear. But, yeah, I don't know.
Kept calling Tori Jen, so well,
it's Jennifer Aniston. People know that name.
Her daughter, Lila.
Yeah,
Lila.
So Lila gets picked up by Ozzy, who's the only actor
to return aside from Warwick
Davis.
Right,
yeah, to return to the franchise. And he's looking rough. But anyway.
He's 25 years later. He was already old in the first movie.
He was a really young 25-year-old.
20. Yeah. So they're riding together in this truck. They're going to the old house, right? So they give us this exposition dump This is the whole setup for the movie, right? This is the fun, shaky premise that I
It's
cannot
almost
crack.
as great as the first movie.
The first one had no context, but it made more sense than this
That's
to
true.
me. I could not wrap my head around this. So, according to Lilia, what'd you say?
Oh my god.
Apparently, her mother's house is now being remodeled to be a sorority home for her college.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sure they say it. I can't put
They
together.
do mention that it was just freshly started, so it's like they're not even really a sorority
Right, but
at
did
this
she
point.
donate it? Like what? Because the mother's dead. They established quickly because Jennifer Aniston didn't return to the franchise, so they kind of kill her off from cancer of all things. But so I don't know. There's some weird turn of events.
Again, they don't really. I don't think they really.
They don't focus on it.
Yeah.
They don't want us to focus on it.
You
but
just
this
need
is what
to
I
know
do.
that this is her daughter, and they're
going to
their
the
whole
old
point
house.
is that they're going to turn the old house into
The
a
old
sorority.
house is being remodeled. Here's another problem I have with it. It's in the middle of nowhere.
They're trying to do a solar thing.
My movie knowledge dictates that this would have to be on campus, right? That's what old school taught me. That's what Animal House said. What was the other one, Fusion?
Neighbors.
Oh, yeah, Neighbors.
You guys.
This is an established trope, damn it. And the other thing that I don't get is like, okay, so in the middle of nowhere, and there's only one car, so all of these sorority girls are supposed to get to campus with one car. I don't know if they really thought this
Well,
through.
whose car is it? Is it the alcoholic girl's car?
I don't
is it
know.
the crazy? I don't think they. Well, she's driving, so I'm assuming it's her car, or was it one of the two guys?
Yeah, but she's also like kind of bitchy, so she probably like took the lead. I don't know.
It's the girl that funded everything with gold.
Rose, but then I don't know. Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves here. It's been a long night. Okay, so they're all the same major, I guess. They're all like in environmental science, right? Is that what I'm supposed to?
I don't think they specify.
Well, because they all kind of have this. They have knowledge in the subject, and that's why the 4 or 5 of them are completely rebuilding this house. Listen to me. 5 college students are completely rebuilding this house. Okay? Like, at one point, she's talking about running pipes into the house from the well. Like, how does it... Okay. I couldn't wrap my head around this. Completely unsupervised. No instructors. They send these girls out there to rebuild this house. There would be carpenters. There would be plumbers, electricians. But no.
Yeah, you'd want to at least check the water, too. We know what
The
happened
girl says
in the
that
water.
she did it herself, which I would not trust an 18-year-old. She might not even be 18.
She might be 20. They're college, so it could be 20.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It
I
could
went
be-
back to high school. Yeah, okay. But
They don't have to be
wait a
fresh out of
minute.
high
Would
school,
you
'cause she
check-
has a
would
lot
you
of
trust a
awards.
20-year-old to check well water? I don't know. They're still in school, is my point, and it doesn't make sense that they're completely unsupervised and they're trying to make this place self-sustainable. To be green, essentially. It's going to be like the first
It's supposed to be,
self-sustainable
yeah.
sorority house. And it is kind of like a project, but they don't really
She's
establish
trying,
that.
The one girl's trying to save the environment, and she's trying to prove you can live like this really
But they all do,
sustainable.
because they all have some sort of expertise in
They
the
do,
subject.
but
That's
it's
why
re-
they're there, I'm assuming. But again, they don't tell you anything. They're
No,
just
they're
like,
just
we're
there.
these sorority sisters, and we're rebuilding a house together.
Well, they're not even really a sorority. That's the funny part,
That
because
would
the
be-
one girl
well, it's a
mentions
new
that,
sorority. It's a
that-
brand new
yeah.
sorority, and that's why they're building the house.
She's like, you just started it like a week ago.
Which, by the way, that would be a show that I would watch on HGTV, like
Yes,
any day.
100%.
Let's take these dumbass college kids and let them rebuild a house. Sounds great.
and then unleash a leprechaun on them.
Yeah,
College
that's the best part.
flippers.
College flippers. That sounds like something else. But anyway, it goes on Hollywood Boulevard late at night. Okay, so Ozzy drops her off.
Yes.
And then he forgets his phone.
He forgets his phone.
He drops it.
Or he drops it by the well.
Yeah.
Of course, of all places.
The
right?
well that exploded at the end of the
Yes,
last
the
one.
well is still
And the
there.
girls actually rebuilt it.
And
Somehow.
intact. Did they? I don't know.
I'm
have
gonna
no
say
idea.
they kind of started.
They don't tell you a lot of things. We're just connecting the dots.
Yeah, they really don't. This movie's more about the killing and the fun.
What I like about it is it's almost like more of a classic slasher setup because you got the sorority house and then the boyfriends that come over and hey, let's just kill him off.
What's his name? Stephen Konstanski? I can't say his last name.
Jennifer can't talk today.
I
Please
cannot
forgive
talk.
her.
What the hell?
Now, if I try to say it
It's
now,
that leprechaun curse.
if I try to say it now, I'm just gonna say Konstanski and Lilia or whatever. Like, so I can't.
Konstanski, is that his
Damn
name?
it! Yes, you just
so
ruined
you know,
everything.
Psycho Gorman.
Yes, yeah, Astron 6, amazing guy. We mentioned this.
Yes.
Honestly, I think he's the best part about this movie.
He is.
The kills are absolutely creative. It is a step up from the first one for sure.
Again, the first one was based in the 90s. It was filmed in the 90s. Actually,
I was made in the 90s. I'm okay.
It was actually written before you were born, I think, the original one.
Wow, they were workshopping this for a while.
They didn't film it until October of 91.
The first one was feral. This one is slasher.
True.
Oh, what's the difference? Okay, anyway.
The first one was whimsical
I
and
will say,
cartoony.
yeah, there's a lot less of like popping out of small spaces. A lot less leprechaunisms. I mean, there's more rhyming and like limericks, I guess, but
yeah, true, because he is still a leprechaun.
But he doesn't do that whole popping out and ha cha 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 cha.
He popped out of one guy.
He did.
He pops out of Ozzy.
Yes, that's the first kill. Okay, so Ozzy returns looking for his phone. He hears a disembodied voice, the child's voice, which, by the way, I feel like a lot of the tropes in the first one, they kind of shoehorned in this one. Like, they tried to rebuild tropes, but then it seemed almost, I'm willing to bet it was probably like a studio note where they're like, you got to bring this back because it's a direct sequel. So he tries to, like, push these old, like, the shoe shining and the gold and all that, but it's very much an afterthought.
It's not as forefront because I want to say Warwick Davis pushed a lot of that in the first one because he was like the name of the film.
Yeah.
And he's not in this one.
I
so.
am the leprechaun.
Essentially,
you
yes.
will listen to me.
He owned it.
That is some crazy egotistical shit.
A very bossy 2.5 foot tall man telling you.
So, okay, based off what we saw at the end of the last one, and we did have to double check it during the break.
We did. We were like, wait,
I guess there's a curse.
He places a curse.
He places a curse
on
on the well to remain there, and the rule is
Until
right
it
if
gets
not
gold.
all of a leprechaun is gone, he still can regenerate. Okay, so this is kind of shaky grounds to start this off on because I really don't understand. He's there. He beckons Ozzy. Ozzy, he looks in the well for some reason. You would think that he would just completely ignore the well, but he goes over there.
He goes over there with the little...
With the shamrock or whatever.
He's got the little shamrock. Like
and then a well water shoots up. He swallows it again. I don't know, this guy has a problem with swallowing shit. And then he just...
Fusion does too.
What? Trash panda. Trash panda. Guys, he was eating corned beef and cabbage this entire time. I thought he was just going to straight up eat through the podcast. Some ASMR. God damn it, Jen. You rubbed off on me. Now I can't talk.
ASMR.
It's
stole your power.
I need my gold. I need my gold.
What I will say, I do like how they bring the leprechaun back because they connect it to the way he was going to kill Ozzy in the original one.
Yeah,
he was gonna cut his stomach
Ozzy
open.
drives away, and then he's got the stomach rumblies. It sounds like he's got some really bad diarrhea. And
plop, plop, fizz.
he pulls over, and the leprechaun just pops out of his stomach. So you're right. That is the one time he pops out of a small
space. Too bad he didn't
space.
have any Pepto.
And he has some weird fucking
He talked about
leprechaun-y
his
shit
health.
to say.
Like, don't pop out people and then talk about their health.
And then insult them. What is wrong with you? Jeez. Yeah. So he gets the coin back. All right.
And then immediately goes, time for me killing.
Time to kill. And okay, this is one of my biggest problems with this.
It is.
Technically, in the first one, he had his gold, except for the one coin, and he died with that
Well, when he
gold.
gets his gold, his point was to get the gold.
Yeah.
And then he died, before he got his last coin.
God, you're throwing me off.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm so tired.
I know.
Okay, so he has the gold. He dies without the one coin. And this one, he gets the coin back, so you would think he's happy. He's got his gold. But then he immediately is just like, all right, time to get to me killing. And it's like, okay, well, I'm on board. I'm watching this movie. Like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to see a leprechaun kill a bunch of people. So
for no reason.
And I want to say the second death is the mailman.
Yeah, which comes out of nowhere. And again, I'm motivated because even in the first one, he killed based on anyone who had the gold. He killed the appraisal, except for the cop who I guess threatened him, though.
Yeah, it was the cop that threatened and stopped him.
Yeah, but there was a reason.
It kind of got in the way of his
This was just
gold.
like bloodlust. He was
Yes.
just like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
Garbage day.
Yeah, we had established that too. Like, it would make more sense if he was going after the people that took his gold, like Ozzy, and then maybe Jennifer Aniston's girl.
That we established, or if he wanted revenge and senseless killing, to go after the original characters. But I understand they probably couldn't bring them all back, so they're like, fuck it, write a new storyline.
Yeah,
let's go with something classic, like a sorority house. Whatever. It's fine. It kind of works. I don't understand. No, it doesn't. But
made sense for the time. It was 2018.
I will accept it.
It was a different time. It was pre-COVID.
I will accept it. He kills this mailman that's killed too. He puts his head in a mailbox and then runs it over.
And runs it over.
And then runs it over. And that's when he kind of mentions, "Oh, I'm weak. I need my gold." Right? So, and I'm already confused because I'm like, I thought you had your gold, bro. I thought you had it.
He had one piece.
But apparently he only had one piece. So that means that the rest is missing. But they don't tell us that until the end of the movie.
Yes.
They don't tell us that anything happened to it until the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which apparently... And by the way, the whole powers thing, again, it's the same plot hole that was in the first one. Because he uses powers the entire time. The only thing I don't think that he uses is the telekinesis. Like, he can't control objects as well. But everything else he can do. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Are we also gonna gloss over the fact that they give Lila weird powers in this movie?
What do you mean?
Well, she sees dead people.
Well, I don't know.
And she's the only one that sees dead people.
I figured that was because of the tie with her mom. So Ozzy comes back as a ghost, and he's utterly useless the whole time. It makes no sense.
Can't talk, but can hold tape for some reason.
He's like an enigma for most of it until the one scene, right?
Just
we'll get to that
in
later.
The first movie.
But even in he is utterly useless. You're right. He's always the problem, though. Like, he's always the inciting incident. Like, stop bringing leprechauns back to life, man. Let them be.
I know, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
That coin stayed in his gut for 25 years.
That's
that was
true.
A solid
he never
coin.
shat that out. Never. It just stayed there. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. Would that happen? I don't know. I have no idea.
We'd have to consult people on that.
Tell
us. Somebody
people.
that knows.
Email us. splattergarage@gmail.com.
We want to know, would a gold coin stay in your stomach or gut?
Would that stay in there? I know they say that gum stays in there, but I don't know. Oh, that was the other thing. He pops out of the stomach and he's got the clover. I assume that's the clover they used to kill him?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
No, Ozzy spits up the clover. That's what. Before he pops out, he pukes a clover, and he's like, "Oh no, there's a leprechaun in my guts." I don't know. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Come back.
It's entertaining though, guys. I love this movie. It was fun. I
great.
love the franchise. It's a lot of fun. But we all know what we're in for when we watch these movies,
right?
Well, anyway, we don't know what's going on with the gold, that whole motive, but it comes out. It's kind of like an afterthought that all of a sudden he needs this gold for his powers. So I don't know why he goes to the sorority house. He just assumes that it would be there, but none of the same people are there.
And so he just starts killing them.
Yeah, he just starts killing them,
In creative ways this time.
That was the best part. That was the best part.
That was really the whole point of this movie, I think.
Was to kill sorority people.
Because the whole first movie was literally just biting and scratching people and popping out of places.
He wanted his gold.
I can't say it enough.
Now he has some gold and he wants to kill.
They actually don't wait too long for him to like appear and show himself. They don't really do that whole like suspense thing. He kind of shows up. Lila runs out. Oh, she does give this whole backstory about her mom having cancer and how she had to take care of her, which was another plot hole to me because then I'm like, well, who raised you? Because the granddad, I guess, is dead. They never talk about him. They never talk about the dad.
Or the grandmother.
Yeah, she just had to raise her mom, or take care of her mom. Not raise her mom, but take care of her mom, who apparently went crazy thinking the leprechauns were going to kill her all the time, you know, which, I mean, understandable, but still.
There's therapy for that and drugs.
Which led to cancer.
And she opens with this, by the way. She's meeting these girls, her sorority sisters, for the first time, and she's like, yeah, my mom was crazy. Believed in monsters. I didn't have friends.
We do that all the time. What are you talking about?
That's actually true.
That's exactly how we introduce
We had that conversation earlier today, actually.
We did.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah. She's kind of, like, alienated from the group. So immediately...
She just didn't have cancer, that's all.
Immediately, she doesn't take any time to run out and, like... I don't know, guys. I'm just going to be honest. If I saw a leprechaun, I would not lead with that. I would not be like, guys, I saw a leprechaun. Okay?
What would you lead with?
I would be like,
there's something in the basement
yes,
that's little
yes.
and can talk.
I would just be like, there's something. There's something.
Someone.
Come see this. I don't know what's happening. I really don't. Somebody check this out. You know, like I would bring them too. You know, but I would not start with Leprechaun. I would not start with it. But there's a stoner girl. There's a stoner and a drunk. She's the party girl. And he comes up to her and starts saying his little rhymes or whatever. And so she comes running out.
She makes a deal.
Right around the time, I don't think that happens yet. She comes running out to tell everybody there's a deranged dwarf who's obsessed with money. Right around the time.
Makes sense.
And everyone believes her. She's the one who's clearly intoxicated, right? When Lila comes out and she's like, I think I saw a leprechaun, they're like, that's sad. You need to get checked out. Then she comes out like, there's a deranged dwarf that wants money. And they're like, what? Really? Like this woman has been smoking and drinking all fucking day. They establish it. And they're just like, well, let's believe her.
Well, I mean, if you're drunk and stoned and you say something crazy,
right? I do that all the time. What are you talking about? You guys never believe me. I told you I saw Bigfoot the other day. But anyway,
Alien Con doesn't count.
Oh, that's actually my favorite part, guys. We have to talk about this because this hit close to home. This literally, there's a reference in this movie that comes from mine and Jen's past, and I couldn't believe it was in here. I actually watched the movie again today and was like, holy shit, I can't believe I didn't get it. When she comes running out saying there's a deranged dwarf that's obsessed with money, and then Lila's like, it's a leprechaun. And then one of the girls says, it could just be a crackhead. Yeah, okay, so we're from Mobile, Alabama. And I don't know if you are familiar with
the leprechaun sighting.
The leprechaun sighting that happened some time ago. I don't know, probably 20 years ago now. It was a long time ago.
It was a while back, yeah.
It went viral. It was on Tosh.0. This was on the news. This was on the local news.
You can look it up.
Watched
Google
this happen where they spotted a leprechaun in Mobile, Alabama, which is why Kevin is there on the scene today.
That's right.
They spotted a leprechaun in Mobile, Alabama, and they started interviewing people on the street. And they cut to this woman in a car, and her response is, it could be a crackhead. It's the funniest fucking thing. Guys, they even did a drawing, right? Like the witness drawings and shit. It is with a little leprechaun with the hat. I can't. I remember watching that on the news when it happened, and then it went viral. It was the funniest thing. It didn't go viral till like years later. But that
was Tosh.
That really
happened.
Viral
Tosh, locally.
That's true.
Because we were all like, wait,
Tosh brought it back, made it national. Everybody saw it. That was a real thing that really happened. So when she says that was 100% a nod to Mobile, Alabama's leprechaun sighting. That happened.
Proud of where we're from.
We are. We see mystical creatures all the time.
Did they find or catch the leprechaun?
No, they said it went up into a tree. And they couldn't find it after that. It just disappeared into thin air. The leprechaun, right after that, attacks them, right? Like, they don't waste any time to get to the killing on this one.
Yeah, there was the mailman, and then...
Right, and then Kill 3, which is one of the boyfriends that comes there.
It was the jock, and...
He gets sliced in half.
Oh, it was so creative.
Like vertically.
Yeah.
Like, not like cut in half at the waist. No, like sliced all the way down the middle. It is brutal.
It is great. And they leave it there for later, too.
That's Kostansky right there.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
He does a lot of crazy...
If you don't know anything about this guy, you got to check out his movies. But he was a special effects artist, and he is always, like, practical effects forward, and he does some of the best gore. So this movie has a lot of great kills in it.
And it's not like too much that you can't take, you know, but it's just the right amount.
Yeah, it's fun. It's always kind of campy at the same time, you know. But it's fun. You know, it's pretty metal. He gets cut in half. It's great.
Well, I mean,
solar panel.
It started with Ozzy getting ripped from inside out.
Yeah, he's disemboweled.
And his ghost is disemboweled through the whole thing. So you see
he takes like saran wrap and tries to like fix his guts. Anyway, we'll get to that. That's pretty fun. He attacks one of the girls, because then I guess they run inside, and he starts attacking Rose. She's like hiding in the closet, and she comes running out. And then the shoes fly everywhere, and that's what distracts them. But that's like the only time.
Only reference to the shoes in that one, and that was a big thing in the original.
I mean, they used it so many times in the original one.
I think they even cut out a few scenes with the shoes.
Like I said, like all the tropes in the first one were very much an afterthought in this one. Like the gold, the child's voice, the popping out of small places, the shoes. It's just like a straightforward slasher, but it's a leprechaun, so you know,
Yeah,
I don't know how
with
you
a
feel
lot
about
of,
that.
A lot of fun kills.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
I think
That's when the stoner chick makes a deal with the leprechaun, somewhere around that time.
Oh yeah, they make a deal for Lila,
and she locks her in the basement, which
is
was
where
previously flooded like 3 feet in water. That's crazy. We skipped over that. It's not really an important scene, but I want to know how resourceful these girls are, because like there's a scene when they walk down there and the basement is completely flooded. I'm talking, it's got to be 3-4 feet deep.
Yes.
And Lila walks down in there and she's like, I can fix it. Just get me a water pump. And like, I guess by morning, because this is like the next day, it's completely dry. I'm like, what the fuck? I guess I would hire those girls to do some remodeling. Come on, HGTV, let's get college flippers.
college flippers. I'm down. I'm down for that.
So
but this is where Ozzy helps her.
Yeah, well, quote unquote helps. He really shows up. He can't talk, and he tries to tell her what happened. She doesn't get it. So he leads her to this poorly drawn treasure map that he left down there, and then he just leaves, and that's it. Like, he doesn't help her at all. He doesn't help her get out of the basement.
He's a ghost. He can't do nothing.
She breaks out of the basement. Stay there with her, but he leaves. He's trying to show her the way.
Well, meanwhile, while this is happening, they do cut to the girls who left in the car with the one guy, and the drunk chick is driving. She's clearly like
wasted,
really
and they're
wasted.
fleeing, and that's where
the
she
leprechaun's chasing them
on the drone.
On the drone.
Yeah, on the guy's drone. I guess the guy's like a filmmaker. He wanted to interview them, make a little video about the work they're doing there.
Yep.
And so he hijacks the drone and he's flying after them. And then what I love about this, actually, what I thought was a creative choice, is he impales himself and dies and comes back, right, on a branch.
Yep.
And I think that was a fun way to kind of show his immortality, because in the first one, all they did was shoot him in the head 3 times, and he came back. But in this one, it's like he's just fucking up and killing himself. Like, it's kind of funny, you know? Like, and it's brutal too. Like, he gets stuck.
He rips his face off at some point too.
Oh, just for fun. That's at Rose before she throws the shoes. He's like fucking with her in the closet, and he rips his face off. It's like total like Beetlejuice moment or something. I feel like it's from something. It's got to be a nod to something that seems so familiar, and I can't.
It's some movie we've seen. Do you think it's a Peter Jackson movie?
Maybe.
Is it Dead Alive?
No. Ripping the face off. I don't know. It's from something, though. I feel like I've seen that before. I don't know. Write us and let us know.
Watch it, write us and let us know. SquatterGarage@gmail.com.
They are, okay, so they're fleeing in the car. He catches up to him.
Impales himself.
The girl, too, while she's driving, she tells him basically that she ditched Rose. I think she lied.
She made a deal, and she
she lied and told them, though, that Lila died. And so that's why they're okay to leave. And then they find out, and suddenly they're not okay. They're like, we need to go back. We're sorority sisters, right?
And then she confronts the leprechaun.
Yeah, well, no, the leprechaun causes them to crash. He causes them to crash when he impales himself. They're watching him. And then they run out, they find Ozzy's body. And that's when she confronts the leprechaun. So
yeah, and she's like, you told me that you wouldn't lay a hand on me.
Right, you wouldn't lay a hand on me. And then she runs, she escapes. She totally ditches everybody. She's a total bitch. And she runs out into the sprinkler system. I guess she's like in a field. So yeah, she runs out into a sprinkler system in the field, and he starts throwing sprinklers at her with his magic.
Yeah.
Which again, he supposedly can't use his magic, but he's using his magic. Yep. So I don't understand the rules.
Can't
of this.
use it well.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but he fucking fucks her up with the
I know,
sprinkler
right?
system.
Because he killed some people before, I guess.
I don't know. Like
because he says that I'll
that's
get
like his Red
back.
Bull. He gives him his wings when he kills people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
he does the sprinkler.
Yeah, the sprinkler through the throat or whatever, and it starts spraying blood everywhere. It's
great.
Glorious. It's glorious.
It's a beautiful scene.
The other girls, they flee, and the boyfriend's gonna
sacrifice himself.
Yeah, well, he's gonna try and hold him off. I don't think the plan is to kill himself. He's hopeful. He's very hopeful. He's like, I could do this.
That's actually one of my favorites.
He's gonna sacrifice himself.
You know you're not gonna.
You
stop
have no
this
hope.
thing.
You don't. You have no hope for this guy. You're like, well, he's gonna die next, and he does.
In a very slow way.
Sprinkler was kill 4. Boyfriend filmmaker is kill 5, and that is probably the most hilarious kill in this movie. Jed's right. He's gonna behead him with the drone.
Yeah, it's a drone.
But it's the slowest sequence ever. It's literally.
I don't think a drone, not on that stature anyway, would behead anybody.
Yeah, no, this looks like one that you could buy at Best Buy.
This is the reminiscent kill of the pogo stick.
Kind of, yeah, because they do like the slow-mo, but it's not, they don't slow it down.
He had plenty of time to duck and run away from this drone.
They don't actually slow it down, though. It's just, it takes forever. It's literally like that scene in Austin Powers when he's going to kill the guy with like the Zamboni or the steamroller.
A random callback to Troll 2?
What do you mean?
Where he's...
What? My god.
Oh my god.
He didn't say oh my god.
No, I know, but like the slow.
I don't know. Maybe like because Kostansky has done that before. He did that in Psycho Gorman. There's totally a nod to Troll 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to get it in there. And
you know
they were
what I
like,
mean?
we don't want to do this. You know, like so maybe. You know,
could be.
I don't know. There was definitely a nod to Army of Darkness. I mean,
God, yeah, that
really happened.
That did happen.
That one is not debatable. That definitely happened. But we'll get to it. Sorry, I'm coughing all over the place here. It's not COVID, I swear. But anyway, what happens?
Kill 5. The girls are trying to go back to get Lila, and Lila actually runs into them in the woods.
No, they think Lila's dead. They're just trying to get away. And then they're like, "Oh, you're alive.
No,
good for
remember
you."
The girl admitted I gave them Lila. I gave him.
Yeah, but when she runs into her, they're not trying to find Lila. Whenever she runs into her first line is literally, "Oh, you're alive. Good for you."
Oh, is that what she
yes. It's very like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" That was awkward, right?
Where are you going? I'm going to get gold.
Yeah, that's when she tells her about the treasure map, and that she kind of knows what's going on. He wants his gold, right? Yeah. Apparently, even though he doesn't talk about it until halfway through the movie.
They stash it in the original car that they found it in.
Again, I don't understand why no one spends this money.
It
doesn't make any sense.
They do spend the money.
She does, but none of the people who originally had the money, like O'Grady, didn't spend it in the first one.
Because he died first.
No, he didn't. He was alive.
Oh, well, he was
just
in the
left
hospital.
it.
Oh, well, because there was a leprechaun
He
attached.
wasn't in the hospital for 10 years. He was in the old folks' home.
Oh,
like,
wherever
he lived somewhere. It made no sense to me. And then they say that Ozzy went down in the well and took the gold. I don't know how that worked out because the leprechaun died with it. But anyway,
it exploded back up.
Kind of like Taco Bell.
Oh shit. Either way, they find this gold, and it's stashed in like Ozzy's old truck or something. Or...
No, I think it's the original old truck out in the woods that they found it in.
Yeah, like
where they followed the rainbow.
Oh, they followed the rainbow. You're right.
And they found it in the little truck.
All the way to his arsehole. However that worked out. What did we say? We said the rainbows come out of assholes? I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
She's tired. So yeah,
the arsehole.
They get the gold, and that's when the other chick starts to admit that.
Oh no, she doesn't wait until they find it. Like they go on this hunt for the gold, and then she finds it, and she's like, "Yeah, so I might have known about this and kind of spent it on the house project." And she's like, "Oh, just a couple of pieces." She spent like most of it. There's like a couple of pieces left. Right, so what? I guess they hatch a plan.
Yeah, they hatch a plan. Fill it with tampons.
Fill it with tampons. Look, woman power. Okay.
Oh, they decide to use what they know against him, like what would hurt a leprechaun.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because she found out. Lila found out she's got fool's gold on her necklace. That burns leprechauns. Right, so they added kind of a new trope to go with the shamrock because that doesn't really pan out in this one. So they're like, well, that's mostly iron, so iron should hurt him, right? They're kind of going on a whim, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
they're going by Fae lore and all that, leprechaun lore.
No one ever said. There's not like an expert who's like, look, I know leprechauns, and let me tell you.
I mean, no, but if you know fairy lore, iron hurts any kind of fairy creature. So they're kind of throwing that in there without
She just says iron hurts them. That's a thing, right? Like she really wasn't sure.
It's like
they
silver
go with
bullet
it, though.
killing a werewolf.
Yeah, they go with it. And they try to trick him. They lure him into the house with the gold. She's going to give it to him. He finds out it's filled with tampons. Great plan. And the girls, like, jump out from behind the couch like, gotcha.
Well, they have him in a circle of iron or something.
Oh,
they put him in a circle of iron.
Okay, he can't really escape. So they trap him.
And then
they blow him up or something?
They explode him with pond water.
Oh, no, it was clover water. She has clover water. She, like, pumps it down his stomach and he blows up. But then he turns into a bunch of little leprechauns.
Well, they're trying to sweep him up and burn him.
Right.
Burn all of him before he gets back together.
Right, because they established that rule.
Yeah, they established that. And then he just starts popping up, and then we have our Evil Dead moment.
Yeah, totally. Where he's like, running around. He trips Rose, and she falls, and she gets
impaled on her trophy.
She gets impaled on her trophy, which is a shovel, like a gardening shovel for some reason. Yeah. It's like a golden gardening shovel.
Like, they totally,
the whole scene. Yeah,
they
she's
just
like
so emphasize
running
that.
around trying to stomp him out, and then she goes to like...
She bites him in half.
Yeah.
She's got all the little ones she's trying to kill.
Yeah, it's pretty funny,
And then they come back in and see all the little ones in her dead body. And then he pulls himself back together pretty much.
Wait, what is that? Kill 6? Yeah, that was kill 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the final kill.
So, all right, yeah. So then he kind of reassembles himself. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. He reassembles himself.
And then they use the gold as a conductor.
That's the dumbest moment.
I know.
It's so stupid. She's like, wait a minute, gold's a conductor, right?
And he pulls this magnet off a wall.
Oh, what was that about?
I don't know.
I couldn't figure that out to save my life. Dude, there's a lot I let slide in these movies, but there's like a giant magnet on the wall, and it's real for some reason.
And he like uses it on Lila.
To like trap her to the wall, which, there's nothing in the wall that would be, I don't know. I can't
I don't know. Magic.
I guess so,
it's
right?
Based on
Leprechaun
90s
magic. It's so stupid.
But they use these gold coins as a conductor to.
And she like takes stereo wire.
No, she takes the lamp, and not her, but the other girl.
Yeah, she like
the black chick. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember her name.
But they keep those two as the final girls.
I remember like most. I don't know. Who cares? Girl 1, girl 2. It doesn't matter.
She ripped. There's the one that's stuck to the wall, and then there's the one that rips the lamp wire out, and he's gonna slowly kill her. But then she lights him on fire with the gold and the wire.
Yeah.
Because it conducts.
And then the whole place catches fire instantly.
Yes.
Like, seriously, it took nothing. It's crazy because O'Grady died trying to set the place on fire in the first one. This time, the whole thing goes up in flames within a couple of seconds.
Because electrical fires are deadlier than trying to light gasoline.
Exactly. Electrical
fires, the real killers.
Yes.
Okay?
The silent killers.
Oh my god! And honestly, it's my favorite part.
And he chases him through the house on fire too.
Yeah, and then he burns, right? And they show you while the house is burning.
It explodes.
The hat is still there,
yeah,
so obviously he's not.
As
but
the
again,
teacher drives up.
Before we even get to that, like again, the whole point: if he comes back in the beginning because of the gold, then it doesn't matter about the hat. He could come back as long as the gold is still around. I really don't understand that. There's so many plot holes. But anyway, it is a movie about killer leprechauns. I don't know
really
why I'm holding on to this.
It's really for the fun of the kills.
Yeah, it is. It's
really
is.
For the fun of the kills.
Oh, but that's the funniest part. Yeah, so finally an instructor shows up in like the middle of the night. It's got to be like
the one chick, not Lila, but as the explosion happens, that chunk of glass flies out and just stabs her in the trapezius, as she puts it.
That was funny.
And the teacher drives up.
The teacher drives up. And the best part about this is on the car. On his car, it says, what is it? It's like the name of the university is stamped on the car, Larimore University. And I died laughing. I'm like, clearly they did this just to give you context, because at no point did they say like Mr. Thompson or whatever. Like they give you no context that he's actually an instructor, so they do this.
Some dude that drives.
Yeah, they do this, and I'm just like, wait, is that a thing? Like, do Harvard professors drive around with Harvard University on their fucking car? Like, I don't understand.
This one does when you're establishing a faraway sorority house in the middle of nowhere.
Why is he coming through? It's got to be like 3 a.m. Why is he coming through this late?
Because he left at like noon, thinking it's not that far.
Like everyone else.
It's like the reason why her dad never showed back up in the first movie. It's a very long drive.
It took literally an entire day to get to the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, that's where they decide to have a sorority. It makes so much sense.
No,
what does she say to him too? He comes up and he's like,
what happened? And she's like, sometimes the best footprint is to leave, or the best green footprint to leave is no footprint. It made no sense.
It was a shitty last line. The best last line is right before she killed him, and she yells, "Eat a dick, ass Baggins." That was my favorite. That one
wasn't good.
That one took the cake for sure. Or took the gold, I might say.
So where is the gold now?
That's a good question.
The
I
girl
guess it
tells she
burned.
spent it. No, she spent most of the gold. He has
But
that
where'd
little
the
bit.
other go?
Because at the very end, he's hitchhiking to where she said
Doesn't
that she
I mean?
spent
I assume he's got it, right? But then
Either
I
he's
assume
got
that at
it-
the end of the first one, and he didn't. So I don't know.
Either he's got it or it melted.
That's the dumbest part. I would have like ended it with the shot of the hat, right, and like a disembodied voice. But instead, they give you this whole post-credit scene where he's hitchhiking and he hitches on the back of like a chicken truck.
And it's like, where is he going? Barstow or bust or something?
Going? Like, makes no sense. I
Into
don't-
town, finally. Leprechaun in the city.
Leprechaun in the city.
Yes.
Let's pitch it. Come on, sci-fi. Okay, we got an idea.
Well, we had
for you.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
That's right, Leprechaun in the city.
But he's going
Inner
to
city
wherever
Leprechaun.
she said she spent the gold.
I guess.
Because she told him, she was like, I spent it, blah, blah, blah. She did tell
She
him.
didn't say where. She said a cash for gold place is
No,
literally.
she does say where. She does say where. It
a
starts with
cash
a B.
for gold place.
In, like, I can't think of the name of the city, but it's like.
It's in North Dakota.
It's, yeah, she does say where.
AKA New Mexico, AKA California.
Because they were like, well, let's just go to the cash for gold place and get it back. And she's like, well, it's all the way in, like, Barstow or somewhere.
Why the fuck?
It's not Barstow, but I'm just saying
Nevada.
that it's not Barstow. But she says it. She does say where it is.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
in town because they're like, we'll just go to town and get it. And she's like, well,
I want to
it's
see that
kinda
movie.
like-
It's gonna be him in a cash for gold place, just taking it down. It's the
He
sequel.
does in one of the Leprechaun movies. There's like a cash for gold place, and the guy has one of his coins.
Oh, good lord.
It's Leprechaun 2 or Leprechaun 3.
Well, there you go. It's kind of a nod to the
And-
original series.
Ow.
All right, so let's talk about it. We broke it down. We got through the first one. We got through the second one. Thank God. I'm barely still here, guys.
She's still functioning.
Let's discuss the pros and cons. This is the versus moment. What do we think? So my personal opinion, the first movie was more cartoony. The second one has more slasher tropes. You know, the kills are creative and gore forward. The first one really falls short with the killing and the setups, but the leprechaun himself was more lovable and fun. I don't know, there was something about the leprechaun in the sequel that felt a little empty to me, like it left something to be desired. I don't know. The movie itself kind of left something to be desired.
Yeah, I feel like if you could put both movies together, like the creative kills from the second one and the fun of the first one, it would be the perfect movie.
Yeah, but I don't know. They both kind of
they
fall
do
short.
get creative in some of the other sequels, but I feel like the first one was they were trying to be a few things that they actually weren't. I think he did a better job, and I enjoyed it. I like the cartooniness of it. I prefer horror comedy to just horror.
Yeah,
because it's more fun. But I do agree. I feel like the kills could have been better or better thought out.
Yeah.
Even with the budget you had. But it was still like an early 90s movie, so I'm not surprised that the kills were that, because most of the budget probably went to his makeup or, you know, other things.
Jennifer Aniston.
No, she was a nobody.
No, I know.
She wasn't a nobody.
But her
She was in
outfits were
Friends.
expensive.
When did Friends come out? Somebody Google
No,
that.
it wasn't. This was her first ever job in film. No one would
When
hire
did Friends
her.
come out? Look, Google it.
It was
There's
like
it.
95 because
Google
it was 95
Google
or
it.
96.
I mean, you're probably right.
I was in middle
I want to
school.
confirm this.
94.
Oh, so it literally came out right before.
This movie was filmed though. You're thinking when this movie was released in 93, but it was filmed in 91.
Yeah.
Yes, it was filmed October through December 91.
Wow,
I
and then
have
she
that
got
information.
Friends after that. All right.
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
what I mean. This
Yeah,
was
you
this
get friends
literally-
after a leprechaun.
This was literally the
Little
movie
did
that
she
made
know.
her.
It's a fun watch. It's
I
more
feel
fun.
like the first movie was more thought out in that, and
yeah,
it just feels
it
more
had
complete.
more heart.
Yeah.
It had more heart. You
This
know.
one's just about killing. Just we want to get killing.
But then you got two different directors too. You've got Kostansky,
Yeah.
who loves his gore and his like any reason
And
to
honestly,
do
that's
that.
the only reason I really love this movie.
Yeah.
But it fell short on everything else.
It really does.
Like I didn't like any of the characters.
No.
None of them. You know.
Are
I
you
liked
supposed
Ozzy.
to?
I mean, yeah, I think you're supposed to like Lila maybe a little bit. I don't know. The other girls, I'm kind of like, you
I
don't.
mean, you really don't really have to like the first movie characters either.
I mean,
They're
yeah,
kind of a throwaway too.
I like the kid. I like the group because they're all
like the
young.
group.
But then they're like, it's almost like Adventures in Babysitting, but with killing from a leprechaun.
Yeah.
I think that kid was revenge.
I'm sure he was.
Wait a minute. Which one do you prefer, Fusion?
Oh, if I had to pick, I don't know. They're both
obviously Leprechaun in the Hood. I mean,
which one? Which one?
Oh my god.
The first one's closer to the 80s. Takes after a lot of 80s movies like Critters.
Like Jennifer Aniston's hair.
Hey.
Yeah, that's pretty glorious.
And her
actually.
shorts. Was anyone paying attention to her shorts?
Shorts, I could not look away.
Right?
The entire time. I was like, what is that? Like a
and
bunch of
those
handkerchiefs?
Shoes, she had like those high tops. Those high tops.
Those high tops
yeah.
are dope.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
I was totally into
and
that.
they remain clean the entire movie.
That's true.
Without the leprechaun cleaning them.
Yeah, it was almost like a little like ad there they could have like pulled off. You know, like when you're running from leprechauns, it's the only brand.
Nike.
It's almost like there was an intention behind it. You think? No.
Just do it. Just run.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
All right. So I mean, you kind of got our opinion. You gotta pick
What
one,
are you
damn it.
guys' opinions on this? Would you prefer the original to the sequel?
Yeah, feel free to write us, spottergarage@gmail.com. Let us know, voice your opinion, and maybe we'll read them on the next episode.
The original wins anyway.
Also,
you wouldn't
feel
have the
free to yell at
sequel
Fusion.
without the original.
Oh, okay. It's kind of a half-assed little thing you just threw
Fusion
in
just
there.
doesn't want to pick.
I don't.
Kind of like the tropes in this fucking movie.
I mean, literally, it's like, it's just.
They cancel each other out.
No
they
words.
do. They really do.
I mean, we watched them both today.
First
one
one.
of them in Spanish. So.
One reason alone, Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I'm going to say that too. I think that we pick in a versus battle, the first one's got to win. It's just more fun.
It is.
It's just more
And
fun.
it was the first
if
time
you
that
could
it
have
did
swapped out the kills, it would have been a perfect movie.
Yeah. I said that. Thanks
again,
for taking
I
that.
am delusional, but at this point, I just called Leprechaun a perfect movie. But you know, take with it whatever you will. We don't care at this point. We're just trying to get through it. Okay, let's cut back to cut to a quick sponsor break. Right?
Yeah.
Is that the word I'm trying to say?
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick sponsor break while Christina recharges her batteries, and then
Yes.
I'll have some dirt for you guys.
That's right. Stay tuned for digging up the dirt.
Oh, I love me strawberry sniggles. Ooh, I hope nobody ever gets my hands on me and tries to steal my strawberry sniggles. I'm gonna eat every last one of them and then they'll be in my stomach and nobody will ever be able to eat them except for me because they're gonna be all inside my stomach. My name is Mr. Top Hat Jones, and God forbid anyone ever take my swiggy little people snibbles. I'm keeping them all for me. Last bite. Oh, now they're all resting comfortably in my stomach. Ooh, am I feeling good? No! Get away from me! Get away from me! There's a big bunch of strawberry snibbles! No! Oh, Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! It hurts! My entrails are out! Why would you even want to eat these? They're soaked with my stomach acid! Oh, Jesus Christ! Lord Savior and Spirit, save me! Take me to the light! Oh, my God! I see demons! I see demons are coming!
You can hear me.
Yes.
Why do you eat people?
Not people. Brains.
Brains only.
Yes.
Why?
The pain.
What about the pain?
The pain of being dead.
Well, have you tried aspirin? Aspirin kills all the pain of the living and the dead, and the living who just feel like they're dead. Aspirin. Don't eat brains.
Jennifer, you've got some digging up the dirt for us.
I got a lot of dirt from this first
All right.
movie.
Cue that theme. We have a theme for that, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Shut up and cue it.
You don't trust me.
No, I do.
You probably think it was me out there, digging up the dirt.
right, Jen, what do you got for us?
Alrighty. So, I have a lot. I will try to get through this for you guys. I actually had to cut some stuff out that I did not deem that cool. Mark Jones.
Not that cool.
This was actually his first feature film. He had to fight constantly to convince Trimark Studios to let him be the director and prove himself.
Oh, okay.
He had to prove himself. He had if they decided they didn't like the dailies for any of the days, like the next day, they would just fire him. He's done.
Damn, dude.
So
no,
he
that's
was
some adrenaline.
on his toes this whole time. But he's also known for Rumpelstiltskin in '95, which we do need to do that movie. And
he had a bigger budget for that too.
Yes, and Nightman in '97, which I have not seen.
Nightman.
But he was kind of known for this. And I kind of feel like, you know, when we did Blood and Honey, I feel like those guys need what he did with this movie, but better.
What do you mean?
Like, he has that ability to do the whimsical horror with Leprechaun.
Oh, yeah.
I think they should take a little note from what he did with those movies, but, you know, modernize them a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, this movie was filmed October 28th, 91 to December 3rd, 91, but it wasn't released until January 8th, 93.
Wow, 2 months. That's pretty impressive. It was like one location, I guess.
Yeah, the budget was under $1 million, but grossed $15 million in sales in VHS and DVD formats, thanks to the worldwide recognition of Jennifer Aniston.
It made 8 in the box office, so that's still really impressive.
I mean, but it kept making numbers
it kept making money.
Essentially because Jennifer Aniston became famous.
What is happening? Fusion just lost his shit. He couldn't believe that. He had to walk away.
What is going on?
All right, keep it going.
Anyway, this was actually the very first film from Trimark Studios.
Oh, shit, really?
Yes.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, this is fun. Trimark wasn't sure they wanted Mark Jones, like I said, that to direct, so again, he had to prove himself. Every character in this movie wears shoes to match their personality. And this was meant intentionally to kind of push the Leprechaun's obsession with shoes, because they really wanted to emphasize that aspect of what a leprechaun, you know, like that's just part of a leprechaun.
I mean, much like life, right? Don't we all wear shoes that match our personality?
Right. The clover patch was actually planted on the set for this, so that was a real clover patch that they lit up with a green light for some reason.
They really wanted to highlight it. They were proud.
And this movie and the other movie were both filmed at Big Sky Ranch. The hospital used in this movie was also the hospital used in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
Right. And, my favorite. Though the leprechaun, it's never officially in the movie, does have a name. And originally, he was supposed to be part of an old circus. Like, there was supposed to be like an old circus wagon and stuff.
Oh,
Guess what his name was?
that.
Guess what his name was?
I don't know.
Basil.
Oh, I love it.
So his name is technically Basil.
That's adorable.
They just never say it in any of the movies. Of course, the body count of this movie was 4. The movie does take inspiration from Critters and Child's Play specifically.
Well, you kind of have to, right? With
And
Child's Play.
it was inspired by the Lucky Charms commercials. Like, Mark Jones literally was inspired by Lucky Charms.
He watched that shit on acid. And
Yes.
was like, this is horrifying.
And he was like really surprised that
what if I did take his Lucky Charms?
Right. He was surprised that no one did a horror movie based on the dark mythology of leprechauns, which is surprising that there aren't more.
I mean, you could take a lot of Grimm's fairy tales and turn that shit into horror movies.
So he actually began writing the script in 1985 and spent a long time developing the character, which he envisioned originally as just a horrible, murderous creature, but became more comedic because they gave Warwick Davis a little bit of a free...
See, that's what I mean by heart. Like, this movie had more heart, a lot more thought
it
went
really
into it.
does.
Right.
So a little bit of a darker background to this movie is when it came to casting, they obviously wanted a real little person to play the leprechaun, and when someone asked Mark who he wanted Warwick Davis, but he was hot off the success with Willow, 1988.
Yeah, that Willow money.
Yep. Jones did not think that he would even be interested in this role because it was a low-budget horror film. It was really beneath him but he did eventually take the chance, send the script to England, and Davis read the script and was delighted to play a villain because at the time, as an actor, he was going through a really dark period in his life. He hadn't worked in 7 or 8 months, and he was actually thinking of quitting acting. And he also recently lost his newborn son at the time, so he felt that playing a villain would help him get that out of his system. And I think that's really interesting that he did.
He's like, I want to kill a bunch of people.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a really great way to use your, sad energy. You put it into its creativity.
Murder. It's a great way to use sad energy.
It's not real murder.
You heard it here first.
He's like, all right, I get to kill a bunch of people.
I mean, I get it.
Davis was given free rein to play the character. So the scene of him rummaging through the kitchen was largely improvised, as well as his adorable reaction to see his reflection for the first time. They wanted to just throw in that as a funny point, like the leprechaun admiring his appearance. Of course, again, Trimark Studio rejected Aniston for the role several times. They did not want her in this film, but Jones fought to have her in the role.
Good for him.
Yes. And there were a lot of conflicts between the production and the distribution company. The production wanted to make a horror movie that was very Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, while Trimark kind of wanted Gremlins and Critters.
I guess you got a decent sort of balance there. I mean,
it didn't quite hit the slasher, so I think that's
why they did it in the new one.
They pushed it more there because Lionsgate obtained all of this IP, and Davis wanted more.
It was definitely
comedic.
Gremlins, though. I could see that for sure.
Critters. It's a farm.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people running from a weird guy at night, trying to stab him.
Like you do on a farm.
Exactly. But
Rapey Randall.
They did have to reshoot a bunch of scenes after the producers insisted that the film become more gorier. So originally it wasn't even that gory. Apparently they had to add that.
I mean, it still wasn't. I guess then that must be the eyeball scene for sure.
Yes.
And then maybe the end scene when he comes out.
No, there's the whole scarring of the cop's face and stuff.
Yeah, and the pogo stick on the face.
Yeah. So George Lucas received a special thanks credit because Warwick Davis was under contract to him at the time when he appeared in this movie.
Oh.
So, and also Vice President Dan Quayle received a special thanks credit because his office sped up the working visa for Warwick Davis.
Look, we need to make this movie.
Right.
Leprechaun has to happen, guys. I don't care what you gotta do. Pull those strings.
I know, right?
I'm really happy they did
Quayle.
it, though.
Dan Quayle. And of course, on set, Warwick Davis and Jennifer Aniston had great chemistry. They worked well, but Davis, he accuses Jennifer Aniston of denying the film's existence. And, she considers it a success, but she really is embarrassed by the film. And this kind of creates... I'm against actors that do that. I really am. Like, look at Peter Jackson. He created a career doing horror, cheap horror. And then...
Oh, yeah. Some of those early movies are awful.
Oh, God. They'll make you gag, though. God. He was great at it. We were all vomiting.
What was the one with the fast food aliens?
Bad taste.
My brain's dead.
Your bread's dead?
My bread's dead. And my brain is dead. Also,
yeah.
Brain Dead.
Where they're eating the vomit?
Brain Dead is the original title, though, to...
the other one, yeah. Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. Thank you.
Oh, I know. Of course, the scene where Warwick Davis chases Jennifer Aniston in a wheelchair, Aniston had to run and jiggle in slow motion because Davis couldn't keep up with her because he couldn't manipulate the wheel.
I would ruin every take. I would just be dying laughing in the background, like, oh my God.
And of course, he had to perform most of his stunts because it was challenging to find a stunt double that matched his size. He suffered a lung infection, and the production was filmed with a double, with Davis dubbing over the lines post after he healed. The taller stunt double in the bear trap scene was Deep Roy.
Who?
Deep Roy, is his name.
Sounds like a fucking.
And he was the only actor on set. He was the only actor on set that didn't get hurt in a stunt, apparently. And moving on to the 2018, of course, I mentioned the director of that one also directed Psycho Gorman.
And Manborg. Watch Manborg if you've never seen it.
Yes, watch Manborg. Everyone wanted to know why Davis didn't return for this. He was offered the role, but he did turn the role down because his views on horror changed, because he actually just became a new father again and decided to step away from horror until his son is 18.
In 2018. How old is Warwick Davis, man? He is still getting it in. Listen
Right?
to this crazy
Like,
shit.
But isn't it funny? I find it ironic because what led him to the role in the first place is the same, like the reverse reason of why he's not doing it now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know?
Also, like 18. Like, come on, man.
Well,
We
they
grew
don't
up
say
watching
how
horror.
old his kid is. He could have had one like a few years before it, you know?
Oh,
but
yeah, that's a
still.
good point. It has been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, Warwick Davis is fucking, like, still.
All right.
He's gotta be like 60 something, right?
I don't want to think about that. And of course, this was meant to be a direct sequel that ignores all the previous campy sequels. Aniston claims that none of the original cast members were contacted to partake in the sequel, but Lionsgate, however, did approach her for the role reprisal.
That's
which,
obviously a lie because Ozzy's in it.
Exactly. And they couldn't come to an agreement, so they just killed off her character. They actually did recast someone to do the voice.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. Mostly because I'm really tired.
Yeah, there's a
he tries to manipulate her in this one, and he uses the mother's voice, and so it does very much sound like Jennifer Aniston, but apparently it's just someone who does a great impression.
Yes, and I forgot to write that down. Apparently.
Well, she's out there. No, she's
Yes.
out there.
Of course, Mark Holton does reprise his role as Ozzy. The film takes place 25 years after the movie. Mark Jones was initially on this project as one of the executive producers and writers, however, withdrew from the film for salary reasons.
He needed money. He was like, this ain't going to bring it.
No. And Jones has not participated in a Leprechaun series since the 5th film, where he wrote some characters. The outfit this leprechaun wears is inspired by the characters in the 3rd and 4th films, and the skin resembles the ash almost during the entire film. This is a reference to his death in the 1993 original. It also was trying to correct plot errors and plot holes that the established sequels of the original film.
But it made so many more. It made its own, you know? And that's kind of like the biggest tribute you could do to a movie. It's like,
yeah,
you guys were imperfect. We are too. Like, yeah.
Exactly. And then Kostanski does want to do sequels. I assume that's why he filmed it the way he did. But he hasn't really heard anything from the studio, or didn't hear anything from the studio. However, Lionsgate is apparently, according to Bloody Disgusting, I think it is, open for pitches to reprise the franchise. So hint, hint, guys.
So get out there. We need these Leprechaun sequels. Let's go. Leprechaun, Cash for Gold.
Yes.
Leprechaun in the City.
Leprechaun in Fusion's basement. Leprechaun versus Rice by Mama.
Leprechaun versus Chucky. Let's do it. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We got Doll Man versus the Demonic Toys.
Yeah, like we were begging for that.
I was.
Ginger Dead Man versus the Evil Bong, which I was begging for.
And that is what I have for digging up the dirt, you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, the body count for that was 6, and you mentioned the budget. You know, I could not find a budget for the second movie at all, and it didn't have a box office because it wasn't like. It was like made for TV, right? So
yeah, they didn't actually. I couldn't find that either. I don't think.
Straight on
Sci-Fi. I think I just got the first one.
Coming straight to Sci-Fi.
I imagine it had a bigger budget though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it looked like it did.
Probably had a couple
same
million.
budget because we got rid of the director.
My money's on $3 million.
Yeah, I could see that.
$3 million.
All right. So moral of the story, guys. We watched it. Now I want to know. What do you think?
Don't go after Lucky Charms.
Ah, that was what I was gonna say. Never steal me Lucky Charms.
I don't know.
Oh God, moral of the story. Oh jeez.
When in Ireland, don't go looking for a leprechaun.
Yeah, don't.
Rainbows come out of asses.
Yes, I think
don't follow the rainbow. Don't start a painting business with a mentally handicapped man and a child.
And a good-looking guy.
Don't paint your house blue and red, for crying out loud. Like, primary, too. Like, at least make it, like...
It was going to be red, white, and blue for a little while.
You are all missing the real moral of the story, because the real moral of the story is there's a leprechaun in the basement. Okay, fun stuff. Now I think it's time that we check in with our co-host, Kevin. We got to get Kevin on the phone. He's on the scene in Mobile, Alabama.
How you liking Mobile,
Looking
Kevin?
for the lost leprechaun spotted about 15, 20 years ago. Let's check in and see how he's doing. Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Tell us how the leprechaun hunt is doing. Kevin, are you there?
This is Kevin, reporting live from Mobile, Alabama.
Once I be mirthful, but now my heart grow cold, and now I get a little stabby because you stole me gold.
Ah! We found a pot of gold in this. It's trying to stab me.
I'll feed you to my unicorn. Despite popular belief, they eat people too.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
All right, and thanks for the update, Kevin. I'm sure he's okay.
He was probably just a crackhead.
Yeah. Don't forget to tune into our next episode coming the 27th. It's going to be Cocaine Bear. It is a great film. We're really looking forward to talking about this one to you guys, right? I mean,
Yes,
that movie,
they promised and delivered.
seriously, that movie was amazing.
Oh my God, I love it. And
Fusion
Elizabeth Banks.
laughed like a little princess. It was great.
Kids doing cocaine.
Kids did do cocaine. Okay,
A
but
bear
we'll
did
save that.
cocaine.
A bear did a lot of cocaine. It was a great movie. Also, keep your eyes peeled for our new After Dark series. It'll be coming out probably towards the end of the month. We're going to be reading erotic fan fiction based on Leprechaun. So if you have any, send it to us. Again, that email is splattergarage@gmail.com. Or if you're just a fan of erotica, check it out. Okay, we'll be posting details soon. I know you're out there, preverts.
Yes.
Also, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our sponsor, Endgame Comics and Collectibles in Ventura on Main. Ask for Fusion. He loves to be bugged. Feel free to email us. I'm not going to say it again. But any questions, comments, concerns,
Suggestions on movies.
Suggestions on movies. You can shove them up your ass. I'm kidding. We want to hear them.
Yes. Yes.
And then you can shove them up your ass.
And we'll decide if we want to see them or shove them up your ass.
And that about wraps it up. So until next time, cue that theme song.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, crowds are coming by the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun is taking up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community, many of you bringing binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This amateur sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like. Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff. And it told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
We're going to get down to the bottom of this. Yeah, it's still on there, guy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man.
This guy helping to direct traffic says he's prepared for his encounter with the leprechaun. He's suited up from head to toe.
This wars off spells right here. This is a special leprechaun flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather who was Irish. I just came to help out.
Others just came to get lucky in hopes a pot of gold may be buried under this tree.
I'm gonna run a backhoe and uproot that tree. I want to know where the gold at. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold.
This is Brian Johnson, NBC 15 News.